Hello, fillies and gentle gulls. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Equestrian Critic Society's The Round Stable. Oh, no, we decided to change our name. So, we have a brand new title for our show. It is now Stableside Discussions, Disputes, and Debates. We are basically giving our new title a test run, so hopefully it doesn't suck or anything. So, this is our first episode under our new banner. I hope you guys are excited for the new name and all that good jazz. But this is officially episode 7 of our talk show. Today, I hopefully have a pretty exciting episode planned for you guys. Before I roll right into that, though, I'd like to tell you guys that we have a brand new YouTube channel. It's called SD3 Official, all one word. We're going to be posting our brand new episodes as we air them. As always, we're going to be doing our live stream first and putting the uploads over on YouTube. So that should be some exciting jazz. Anywho, that nonsense out of the way, let us introduce our panelists. Today we have some of the thorough analysis bronies here to discuss, thorough analysis, because that's all fun jazz. The rising popularity of that nonsense and all. So, I have with me today, if I can change my scene here, I've got the A&Y pony.
Guten Tag, liebe Hörerinnen und Hörer.
I've got Brony Curious.
What's up, guys?
From the Equestrian Critic Society's critique team, I have Quilbit Marlor.
I am not responding until you say my name right.
Quilbit Marlor.
Hello! I am here now!
And we have community guest Baraku Panza.
Howdy there.
Guy with the funniest name I've seen all day. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's roll into this topic proper. So, A&Y, why don't you start off with telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do in our silly little brony community?
No problem at all. Well, as everybody who once visited my channel can clearly see, I am a dramatic reader. I haven't come around to even put out a single video about dramatic reading since I did the terrible thing by creating my channel right at the beginning of season 3, and I was very interested in reviewing at the time, and I was just like, oh well, let's do this one review of the season opener.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all I did until, how long went the season? February? I don't know. Yeah, I kind of ended up in the whole reviewing thingy, and then I started the podcast. Now I believe I have about 6 subsections on my channel, and none of it is dramatic reading, so I do everything but the one thing I wanted to do.
Good stuff, isn't that how it always goes? Start doing something only to do something else. Good logic. Whew! Okay, now, Brony Curious, tell us a little bit about your sexy self and what you do.
Well, I've been in the fandom for, gonna say probably just under a year and a half now. I first started doing, I ran a Tumblr blog. It was my first kind of foray into the fandom. I did a lot of editing and posting of animated GIFs and stuff. From there, I got inspired to start doing artwork because I have a degree in graphic design, so I've kind of been drawing forever. So I did a picture book called Sister Who Slighted, which is a 70-page pictures book all about Scootaloo, trying to give her the episode that at that point she never got. That's kind of where I started my YouTube channel as well. I originally used it to chronicle the progress of the book. So I do an update every week, this is where I'm at with the book. It's almost done. I promise. I'm not lying. So I did that for a while. I'm now working on a comic book called Recovery, which is all about Trixie and a redemption arc for her, what happens after Magic Duel. That's going to be the next 5 years of my life because it's way too overambitious and I can't do things small. But the reason most people know me is because I also started doing analysis videos on YouTube. And I originally got into it because a lot of the people at the time, there were only a few people, and the comments were overly positive. And me being the cynical bastard I am, I was like, well, the show's not perfect, and a lot of people are calling it perfect, so I should... Maybe since I'm a storyteller and I like telling stories, I can kind of see some of these things. Maybe it'd be nice to kind of bring them to light. And so the first videos I did was on Applejack, why I thought her character, as much as I love her, could be bolstered a bit. Then I did one on the Nightmare Moon arc and why that was my least favorite arc, and kind of talked about that a little bit. And then I fell into episode analysis, kind of the same way that A&Y did, because Season 3 started, and I didn't plan on doing episode analysis because I didn't do the first few episodes. I only started with Sleepless in Ponyville. No, I started with Magic Duel because Magic Duel came first. I did Magic Duel because I was working on a Trixie redemption story, and then they redeemed Trixie in that episode, and I was like, this is crap. So I got on the camera and just started ranting about how I was like, it ruined my fanfic, and I hate everything, blah, 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 blah. And then the next week they did Sleepless in Ponyville, which is very similar to Sister Who Slighted, so I was like, I got on camera again, I was like, this is awesome, and I canonized my book, and I love it. And then at that point, people were like, so what are you going to talk about next week? I was like, I wasn't planning on doing any more of these, but apparently I guess I am. So it kind of became that. I ended up reviewing every episode from that point on of Season 3, and people wanted to hear more, so now I'm doing a lot of headcanons, some overarching concepts.
Have you gone back in Season 1 and 2?
I've been doing Fimpressions, which is short little 1 and 2 minute videos that kind of briefly go over. I'm halfway through Season 1 right now. I just did Showstoppers, and I've done Ticketmaster on. So they're not really episode reviews because I usually don't talk about the episodes. I usually just talk about characterization in the episodes because that's my thing. So I plan on doing all of Season 1 and 2 in that format, and I plan on hitting all of Season 4 when it starts. So I don't know, I just talk about horses, and I draw horses, and I have horses on the brain way too much.
Because, horses are the best thing in life.
Kind of.
It's got to be in everyone's life,
Yeah.
Okay, so, Director Ponzo, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm today's random nobody.
Aww. You're somebody to us.
You're important.
And you got the top hat and the whipped cream beard.
And you're
around the fandom, I've kind of been involved as an editor, mostly. Editor and writer. Editing for people like Raven's Dagger and Chromosome and McHoodle and stuff. Recently, though, I've been helping to run a reviewing group on film fiction, like a moderately successful one, Write, the Writers and Reviewers Institute for Technical Excellence, which is all about just people submit stories to us for review, and we go in depth on how they can improve, essentially. Yeah. Aside from that,
what we do, except more professional at it.
Yeah.
By the way, one thing I probably should have glazed over as soon as I started my botched intro, which I always do. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or things like that, basically our group, by the way, the Equestrian Critics Society, is a review critique group, and this is kind of a show for, just kind of entertaining the masses while they wait for the reviews, all that fun jazz. So I probably should have mentioned that from the very get-go for our newcomers. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there, Barack.
Sorry, that was pretty much done.
I always blow straight through my intro. I practice in front of a mirror to get my introduction quotes and speech down to look like such a pro, and I just completely botch it once I actually do it. So.
Well,
don't worry. Your podcast is still a lot more professional than mine, so.
Yeah, with the really crappy text box titles. Okay, so let's get right back into the topic.
What about Quillbit?
well,
We all know who Quillbit is. She's unimportant.
I'm the pony every pony should know.
Okay, fine. If you need 5 minutes, Quillbit, go.
I am Quillbit. I review stuff on the illustrious and amazing group that is the Equestrian Critics Society. I love doing what I do, and Missy...
Okay, let's get right back into the topic.
Missy is not paying me to say this.
Yeah, she's on slave wages right now. I'm paying her 50 cents a day to do reviews. It's good stuff. Okay. For the interest of time, let's go ahead and jump back into the topic. So...
We have a topic?
Yeah, there is a topic. There's totally a topic.
God damn it!
That's why we're all here.
Why does nobody tell me?
Nobody told me either, so.
Yeah, I just kind of pulled you guys in off the street because you needed the publicity.
As I mentioned before, I'm young and I need the money.
Speaking of publicity, so thorough analysis. It's starting to become a bit of a rising trend over in the Brony community. I mean, let's see, Bronies got like what, 1,000 plus subscribers now, and how many do you guys have? Quite a bit, don't you?
I believe Digi is about 30,000, 40,000,
Wow.
but so he's getting close to Saberspark, who has actually used to be one of the biggest non-musician slash animator, so just a random YouTube Brony, the biggest one. So yeah, he's getting pretty big.
Yeah, it is starting to get pretty big. And how many subscribers would you say you guys have now?
2,500.
I think I have 14,000, something like that.
That's quite a
Wait,
lot.
I can. Wait, I'm getting the numbers. Give me guys a minute.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, gotta get all
No.
professional.
Yeah.
Because you need numbers.
So-
Numbers are good. So yeah, it's kind of easy to tell just from those numbers that this is becoming a very popular thing around the fandom, and I'm starting to assume that people just really like being able to dig thoroughly under the dirt of what is under the surface of what My Little Pony is and kind of the themes that go around in it.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
Or I guess people just love hearing trash talk on some of the episodes, because I think that's what ended up getting me onto Digibroni's channel, was when he was discussing the Equestrian Games episode. I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know.
The game's
Games
fun.
Bonus Play.
The Games Bonus Play.
But the fun thing is that our point of views are rather positive. Usually, from my own experience, I got the most negative feedback when I was negative about an episode, because usually people who enjoy an episode get kind of easily pissed when you dare to attack their beloved episode, and they go into flame mode. So actually being rather positive at least worked out for Digi pretty well, because he has this ultra positive attitude.
Because we love ultra positive in this fandom.
Yes.
The whole world go around. Alright, so why do you guys do this thorough analysis thing? Because I'm just so curious what brought this on all of a sudden, just suddenly doing episode analyses and stuff. So,
I think for me and A&Y at least, like we kind of mentioned, it was completely by accident. It was more, we kind of just did it as like a one-off, or just not planning on doing a lot of it, and it was really a reaction to the positive influence of the people who watched it. Because I started my Little Critique series, and I figured I'd do like maybe 5 of them over the course of however long, but because they blew up and people liked them, I was like, well, I definitely have more things to say and I can keep doing this. But I mean, first and foremost, I'm definitely an artist and a storyteller. Like, that's how I kind of classify myself. So like, recovery is my big thing. Like, that's like my number one that I'm working on, like in my own mind. But most people on my YouTube don't know that I do art at all. A lot of people are asking, who did your OC art? I'm like, oh, that was me. I did that. I draw a lot. And they're just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I know. So
who actually does do their own art for their awesome things these days?
Me too, but I only recolor other OCs I find somewhere, or drawing somewhere, and just put the vest on it and pretend it's mine.
Well, it really is kind of rare to see multi-talented people out there, so I guess that's kind of cool you do your own artwork. That's a perk.
Well, yeah, but to continue the thought about what's up with the whole analyzing trend, I have been into this whole reviewing and analyzing phenomenon quite for a while now. I believe I came across the first one I got into was 5 years back. I don't know, or 4 to 5 years, was Angry Video Game Nerd, but I pretty much yes, I know. I was young and stupid, and probably still older at this point than you are now. God damn it!
He's like every reviewer's idol. That guy.
Yeah, he was the first one who got so big, but I pretty soon, when he did his crossover with the Nostalgia Critic, I pretty much changed camps and went totally fanboy about the Nostalgia Critic and ended up following a lot of the guys on thatguywiththeglasses.com for 2 years, I guess. It even inspired me to start my original YouTube channel in the first place, which never took off. So I put so much more effort and work in my old videos, but they never caught on. And then I started making pony videos, and within a month I had more subscribers than I had with my old channel in 2 years. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm staying in the Brony fandom.
People love ponies.
Yeah,
Everybody
they
loves
do.
ponies, and if they don't, they're missing out.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, but the thing is, this whole reviewing is something, especially when you mix it up with humor, when it is not just dry, analytic stuff. When you mix it up with a little bit of humor here and there, with a little bit of craziness and the angry theme. The angry theme is still dying out. I mean, Angry Video Game Nerd was a big angry one, and after him, every reviewer who dared to be a little bit angry was like, ooh, AVNG clone! And but then the trend became also but the reviewing itself caught on, and there developed multiple ways of reviewing: the more entertaining ones, the more serious ones, the more positive ones, the more negative ones, and it kind of became a thing itself on YouTube, I guess, and or the internet in general. And I guess the Brony fandom simply caught on to it. I mean, it's still in the development, and it took, about 2 years to really catch on. I mean, in the beginning, we pretty much had, I don't even know when everybody started. I believe Paleo may have been active as a reviewer since season 1. I don't know. Does anybody know?
As far as I know, he was there like pretty much since the beginning. He started making videos really like after like the whole Brony fandom took off, and the first video that he did was the talking about like the decline of modern cartoons and like highlighting the few that were on right now that were still good, and he chronicled like the whole history of Cartoon Network and its rise and fall and things like that. And then he ended that series saying like, My Little Pony is the last one I want to talk about. I know a lot of you are probably like, what the fuck? So let me explain. And then he did a whole huge video like My Little Pony, why My Little Pony is good and you should give it a chance. That was the title. It was huge.
That's a very convincing
title. His oldest video on his channel is from August 2011, so I guess beginning of season 2, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's when the fandom really started to pick up some steam anyways. So, as far as I know, Paleo was the first one to really start doing things like this.
But then, I think one thing, I guess, that helped take your guys' show off is you added the very humorous element to it. I mean, A&Y, you kind of come off as a bit of a comedian in your reviews. Curious, yours, I'd have to say, are a lot more thoughtful, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I can
sophisticated and elegant.
My humor is much more reactionary. So like when I'm hanging out with people, like I can crack jokes based on what's going on around me. But like if you sat me down and like here script jokes, I'd be like, no, I can't. So a lot of my videos that people think are funny are actually, it's all because of my editor Formula Dash. Like anyone that's any of my longer videos that have come out recently, he's graciously decided to do the editing for me because he knows I'm working on the comic book at the same time and it's a lot of stuff to juggle. So what he does is he takes my script, which is completely just like I'm just talking and giving you the audio, and he'll just add in jokes all over the place, like totally subtly. Like the last one he just did was the Equestrian history when we're talking about order and chaos, and he put the 2 toilet paper things in. I was like, I didn't tell him to do that. That was all him. Like I just was talking.
So long to get it.
And I was just like, this is beautiful, and even like some of the impression or my little comments, like the end of Games Ponies Play, where it's like the Darth Vader. No.
I just wanted to ask. He did this one. This was one of the first he did for you, didn't he? Oh, it cracked me so up, and I believe you had been quicker putting out your review than me, and I was just like, the perfect ending gag for this episode is over there on Brony Curious channel. I don't want to rip it off. Go over there, watch it. It's hilarious.
Wasn't that the dun dun dun?
That was
It
was my
Pinkie?
random thought to you. Yeah, so you know how in the games when he's played, Pinkie Pie's like, no! I mean, yes!
And,
So
yeah,
he takes that scene, and it's like, we got the wrong pony, and then it's Darth Vader's, no! And then it's like, no, wait, I mean, and then he does the, yeah! Like from, you know, the main thing from CSI Miami. It was beautiful. It was like, and again, I don't tell him to do any of that. He just does it, and it's great. So I mean, what I do with my videos is like I try and be approachably elegant, I guess would be a way to put it, because I love language, and I like using language efficiently. Like because I started doing reviews of people's fan fiction. Like people will send me fanfics, and I'll read them and send them some advice. But something I'm always saying is like, you know, like you're like a wordsmith when you're writing, and like your words are your like weapon, and so you need to like master them. So I really like using language effectively, but at the same time I also want to be clear and concise, because not everyone is as obsessed with language as I am. So I don't want to use too many complicated words or phrasing. I want to be approachable, but at the same time appear as intellectual as I can when I'm talking about cartoon horses. So I try and strike a balance in that way, and that's something I really focus on, is presenting intelligent ideas in an approachable manner. So as far as for me, humor, when I can interject it, I can, but for most of the time I'm trying to communicate an idea. So
Yeah, I would say it actually works out pretty well for you in some ways, because you're a lot more thoughtful in some of your own reviews than I had to say NY's is. And why you bring up some excellent points, but you're a lot more. I think your reviews are mostly more shifted towards entertaining rather than just, you know, seriously deep digging into the show.
I admit, I am an entertainer. I'm sorry.
I don't know. And I figured out that Snips and Snails are the most important ponies in the entire show, so that took
I did. I really went all in there, analyzing the shit out of those two. And
now M.A. Larson knows about it too.
Yes, I know. I finally got around listening to it, and yeah.
Was that awesome?
The call on, yeah, it is like.
There was a live
this video of a YouTuber, and he told us that Snips and Snails are secretly pulling all the strings, and M.A. Larson is like, oh, yeah, well, it kind of is true.
That's kind of awesome.
Are they not as dumb as they seem? Who knows? Shifty eyes, shifty eyes.
Totally unsuspicious.
They are not. I can prove it by video.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not here.
For the sake of time, let's move on to my next question I got here. What do you guys mostly look for in your analyses? Because I think that's kind of the real crux of what you guys do here. So, you guys obviously have different things that pop out for you and things that kind of are more worth mentioning than others. So, what would you guys say you kind of look for?
Well, yeah, as we kind of already pointed out, I am actually going for entertaining. It's also something I believe we talked about earlier, Tommy, with what makes a good review. It is like, for me, because I was big fan of the whole that goes with the glasses and so on, and totally fell in love with this way of reviewing. Even so, it's kind of a mixture what I do. I actually do present my honest feelings about an episode, because when I'm just talking about episode reviews now. It was like when I liked an episode, the review was positive as well. When I didn't like an episode, the review turned out negative. And when I say like, oh, I like this part, I usually really did like this part, not like, for example, the nostalgia critic who is always playing a character. So sometimes the nostalgia critic says different opinions than Doug Walker, the guy who is actually playing him, just because he is in character. And even so, I'm a little bit in character myself. Usually, the opinion I present is my honest opinion. But to make it more interesting, as I mentioned, I am going down the entertainment route, trying to make it, funny, or at least in a quirky way, entertaining. I'm not really this into real actual funny, but
you do
I'm
kind
more
of make fun of some. You do make fun of some awkward or negative things throughout the show, don't you?
Yeah, I sure do.
That's what everybody comes to your stuff for.
It's more about strange and crazy reactions than real funniness. So
that's a good way to do things. I'm pretty sure the audience gets a laugh.
Well, that's glad to hear.
Hey, whatever works, works. That's my motto. So, curious, what works for you? How does your operating procedure work?
So, I mean, since I'm so interested in writing stories, like writing, Trixie's backstory, I read a lot of comics, watch a lot of movies. Like, storytelling has always interested me, and it's been like the driving force of everything I've done for as long as I can remember. What always usually sticks out to me is aspects of narrative storytelling and characterization. So you'll notice a lot of the times in my videos, if it's an episode review, I won't even talk about the episode. I'll just talk about characterization. Like, a good example of this is Swarm of the Century. Like, I made a joke through the whole... That was probably the only video I ever did that had jokes in it that were my own design. That, and when I did all the shipping jokes with Verijack. But in that episode, I was writing the script, I just kept going off on tangents the whole time. I didn't talk about the episode at all. I was like, is Pinkie Pie really a genius? And like, maybe she's secretly depressed and realizes that everyone like holds her at a distance because she's so weird. Like, wait, shouldn't I be talking about the episode? Then like, I really like how like the background characters, watching this again, now that I know all of them based on their fan and interpretations, makes all these little scenes with background characters have so much more narrative weight. Like, it's not just two random ponies screwing up a sign. It's like, it's like Lyra and Bonbon hanging out with the town drunk. I'm like, wait, should I be talking about the episode? And like, the whole time, I'm just talking about characterization, and like, those are things that get me excited. And like, when I talk about Magical Mystery Cure, which I've done for like 40 minutes now, I'm just like, talking about how it affects Twilight's character and how going forward it should change her character. And it's like, and then on the negative side, I talk about the storytelling in there. I'm just like, the pacing was really rushed. And like, to me, like, I'm very sensitive to pacing. And, I butt heads with Digi about that a lot because his pacing preferences are totally different than mine.
I think it's safe to say a lot of us, I guess, writer critiques, we notice a lot of this pacing thing because it's a very serious problem in fanfics.
I mean, like,
and somehow invading the
yeah,
show.
totally. And the problem for me is that, like, I'm a huge fan of 1940s film noir. So, like, I can deal with slow pacing. In fact, I prefer slow pacing when they take a lot of time to just build up things and, like, just meander forever. Like, with my story with Trixie, the first two chapters, nothing's going to happen. Like, literally nothing's going to happen until the last page of chapter 2. And I already know people are going to hate it for that, but, like, it's just how I write. And I like reading stuff like that just takes, like, I could sit there for like 40,000 words and they've just been sitting at a table talking and like you're getting an understanding for like the characters. I'm like, this is the best. Like my favorite, like I just been watching Neon Genesis Evangelion and my favorite episode was episode 4 where it's just Shinji walking for 20 minutes and nothing's said. It's just like all emotion, just like how fucked up he is. And everyone else is like, is he on drugs? This is boring. It's like, nah, dude. So like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me excited. And when this show does that, I'm just like, yes, like, like character development and mood, and like I love continuity and all those things like that. So when
Magical Mystery Cure came along,
well, Magical Mystery Cure did a lot too, because I mean, I don't want to repeat myself, but it linked back to Crystal Empire because it brought the book back, explained what that was, and it kind of ended the whole kind of season arc that they probably should have gone into more detail with, but didn't, about Twilight ascending. And it gave us a better idea of what alicorns were, and I really hope going forward that they're going to push that even further and be like, okay, these two characters, Celestia and Luna, and even now Cadence, we don't know what they are. And now we have a perfect opportunity to, like, these characters who are so important in the lore of the universe that we as audience don't know anything concrete about. You have a perfect opportunity in the scope of your show to talk about it like, okay, let's do some world building. Let's do some establishment of these two supremely important characters, Twilight's mentor that we just know nothing really about. Like, we can guess and we can assume all we want, but at the end of the day, we don't know what her powers and abilities are. We don't know the extent of her, magic. We don't know where she came from, what she's been doing. We have bits and pieces, and part of the thing that's great about the show and what makes the fandom so strong is the ambiguity, and I want to do a video on this talking about ambiguity in MLP, and the fact that you talked about it in your last video, and why it pissed me off was like, you stole my thunder. But I want to, because the ambiguity is what leads to all these things, because all the videos that I make that don't talk about episode analysis are always trying to answer a question that I have, and a question I think other people might be asking, or at least interested in hearing a response to.
Well, I would love to hear your response to, does Celestia suck at her job? Going on this little tangent here.
Celestia suck at her job.
Whoa!
She
Yes,
does,
of course.
really.
All hail the new Lunar Republic!
Luna sucks even... If Celestia sucks at her job, then Luna sucks even more because she turned evil.
Yes, of course, but she got redeemed. Now she is strengthened through this experience. She is a better princess now.
And
Well,
she's
If her failures strengthen her, then does it mean Celestia's growing stronger with each subsequent failure?
No, she is
No,
not really
she's not.
falling
Okay.
this deep. No, she is not falling this deep. She is not really going down this road where she actually learns something about herself. She's just making these little mistakes, like risking all of Equestria just so her star pupil can learn a lesson in the Crystal Empire. Who cares if the empathy field screws up everybody?
Well,
Luna was the only voice of reason during that, let's be honest there.
I think she's just testing Twilight.
Yeah, we still have to see how Twilight turns out as a princess.
Indeed. So I think we're kind of rolling into our thoughts and discussing a little bit on season 1, 2, and 3 here at this point. So, darn, had a brain fart. I was gonna go somewhere with this, but I forgot. I was gonna say, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about your thoughts on just kind of how they've been going throughout these seasons, because in my personal opinion, season 1 just kind of was trying to plant its feet in the ground and figure out where it was going. Season 2 had a really great idea, and it was trying to push forward with that, and then season 3, I think, is trying to dig really deep out of the trough in the idea department. And that's, I think, why it ends up feeling a lot more like fanfics in the other 2 seasons.
Yeah, you probably nailed it. Let's move on. Next question.
Oh no, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Do you have anything you want to add? Come on.
Well, season 3 just sort of seems more linear than the rest of them did. Like, you started off with Celestia and Luna with that book and all. You knew something was going to come of it. Like, and then every time you see Twilight after that, she's training magic. Like, it all feels like it's building up to something, where the other seasons were more, well, I mean, I guess it's still slice of life, but they're more like individual. You just kind of have a beginning and then a bunch of random stuff in the middle, and then you have an ending.
Yeah, that's kind of what's been going on in the first 2 seasons, although the first
I
season...
disagree right away.
Okay, disagree. By all means.
We disagree.
I totally disagree, at least on this whole building up feeling throughout season 3, because yes, they trying to create this feeling, but actually it is all one big hoax. Because yes, I had the same feeling, like, okay, we got this book, awesome, there's something going on, and you get this feeling, and then there's Discord, and you are like, okay, there's really going something on. And I believe at the same time when Keep Calm Flutter On was released, the whole Alicon thingy already became known. And if you want it or not, you got this fact spoiled, god damn it. And I was like, oh wow, he will play a part in it, it will all strings will run together in the season's final. No, it's all a hoax. This stupid glimpse of the book is the only thing. It's just like, guys.
And it didn't even pan out to anything, really.
You say it's a hoax. The Discord thing was just one episode towards the end, though. I'm more talking about, like, she essentially she realizes herself as a mage. I feel like is what happens at the end of season 3, and up till then she'd just been focusing on magic the entire season.
I have to beg the question though here on this line of thought, Baraku.
Yeah.
Why does she need to be a princess to do
Because
this?
she was always meant to be a princess. Lauren Faust actually just, it was always her
But do we need another
destiny
one?
to ascend into the throne. And, well, I kind
Do
of...
we need another one? That's the big question. Do we really need another one?
Whether we need another one or not, like...
Well, who knows how long, well, the thing is, I think maybe intentionally Celestia was supposed to step down because, didn't she name Twilight at her successor? And when you're a successor, you take this person's place when they feel they are no longer able to hold a position.
Did she name her as her successor?
I think a protege. I think the exact word was protege.
Yeah,
but
I mean, she's been her protege all along.
Yeah, she's been her student, and the whole thing is that in the end of season 3, it was kind of implied that their mentor-student relationship had ended. By ascending, Twilight had become her equal, and they were still going to have a relationship, but it was going to be a lot different. It's what she said, a different kind of relationship that they're going to have going forward, and that's something I want to see explored, because subsequently we'll get to know more about Celestia and hopefully Luna as well, because they're all together all the time.
Definitely.
But some things to I guess I would want to mention is that a lot of people are talking about Lauren Faust and what she's saying about her intentions with these characters were. And it's interesting, and every time she does these Q&As she's been doing the past couple of weeks, it's always really interesting, and she says a lot of cool stuff, and I love just kind of getting more information what's going on in her head. I love how she said that Trixie went to Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns. I was just like, headcanon, canonized, hell yeah. So, like, cool stuff like that. But the problem at this point is that Lauren Faust's headcanon has just as much authorial weight as mine does at this point, which is to say, none.
Yeah.
Because she's not on the staff anymore. So anything that she thinks of that wasn't implemented is not true. And I think that's something that needs to be understood. We can embellish it and like it all we want, and I still think that I like her interpretation of Celestia and Luna being the sole only alicorns, and like these almost like mythical beings, and like she said they weren't gods, but they were very godlike in their presence and their role. I liked that concept, and in my my Camelot wedding, like I go off on Cadence because like it ruined that. And Lauren Faust said, like, to fuck, she's not supposed to be an alicorn. Stop selling toys. I get that, but it's done. It's happened. So, Lauren's also saying that Celestia and Luna were born alicorns. Well, that's nice, but you never confirm that in the show, so it's not true. It's just what she wanted to do. It's the same thing as if we had an interview with Bob Kane, and Bob Kane said, well, Batman, like something about Batman, I don't even know. Maybe he carried a revolver with him at all times or something. It doesn't matter what Bob Kane says. It's not in his hands anymore. These characters and this property has a life of its own. And now that Lauren is no longer on the staff, what she says isn't law. It's just what was originally in her head. So you can respect that all you want, but it's not true. So.
But wouldn't it also be safe to say they are kind of veering off into some strange directions? I mean, take a look at some of the Season 3 episodes where we've had the characters completely not being themselves. Applejack in the Family Reunion episode, then we had Spike in the...
Spike at your service.
Yeah, Spike at your service. And we just had characters just kind of not going correctly on their normal trend or acting like themselves and so on.
I mean,
absolutely.
that's just the writers.
Yeah, I mean,
that's been in every season, episode or two where there's just a character not acting quite right, and it's just the writers.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of a consequence of the format of Western animation where it's done by multiple writers.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a different interpretation of their characters, just like we all have different interpretations of the characters. If we sat down and wanted to make a concrete list of who we think Rarity is, all of our lists would be different. Mine would probably be a lot longer, but that's besides the point. So, fluctuations like that are inevitable when you're working with multiple creative people doing the writing, because everyone's going to understand things a little bit differently. As far as the authorial intent and stuff, I've always felt that season 3 was a transitional period, and that's exactly what it was. It was the first season where Lauren Faust had nothing to do with it, and it was up to Jason Thiessen and Megan McCarthy to really take the reins and be like, okay, this is our baby now. Where does it go from here? And there's some growing pains. Things didn't work 100% of the time. But the fact of the matter is I came away from season 3 with two things. Number one is that there's some retroactive continuity adjustments happening.
Yeah, 'cause I get the impression that I'm not sure they know what they're doing at this point. They're trying different things, but I'm not sure they're able to set in stone what they're wanting to do.
I think, again, the Alicorn thing is definitely just like the Alicorn thing with Cadence. They're things passed down from Hasbro, and they have to find a way to work it into what they're already doing, and that's difficult. As someone who writes stories, it's difficult when you have to force something else in, because if someone told me that, like, okay, like, you're working on Recovery, but you need to sell this train, like, what the fuck am I going to do with the train? Are you kidding me? Like, the whole things that take place in one town, you want to have a train bombing through? Like, it's difficult, because you have creative vision, and you know where you want to go with something, and 9 times out of 10, what marketing wants is completely different and doesn't jive with what you're doing, so you have to adjust your way of thinking. And with something as big as we want to make our main character in Alicorn, which for a Hasbro executive, put some wings on it, we fucking put an extra like 5 cents into the mold and we're done, like, bam, money, like, that's their thought process. To anyone working on the staff of the show, it's like, well, we have these Alicorn characters who are exponentially more powerful than anything else in the canon of our universe, and we've already done it once with Cadence, and it's already questioned enough it is now to take our main character. It's not just putting wings on it from a storytelling standpoint, it's completely changing her,
It could be potentially removing a main cast member from the show.
And they have to find a way to explain that. They have to find a way to make it work narratively, because this isn't G3.5. This is a staff of people who care about the story they're telling. And do they get it right all the time? No. But if you sit down and listen to any of these people talk in their panels that they've done, it's like, it's obvious that they care about what they're doing. And so with that in mind, Jason, Megan, all these guys wanted to make this work as best they could. And M.A. Larson wanted to work as best as he could. And given the time, I think they did a really good job. But because Lauren wasn't there telling them, how to keep this change, this massive, monumental change, in line with her original vision of what Celestia and Luna and Alicorns were, there's obviously going to be some retroactive continuity shifting, because what Jason and Megan came up with, and what M.A. Larson wrote about what an Alicorn is and how they're made and stuff, isn't going to be the same thing that Lauren was thinking. So a lot of people, are saying that, like, oh, but they had to have been born Alicorns, because that's what Lauren said. Well, Lauren isn't the one who came up with this idea.
Nowadays, we just got a chicken and an egg situation.
So it's different, and for me, like, there's Lauren's ideas, but then there's the canon of the show. What the canon of the show is what happens in the episodes. And do I prefer Lauren's vision to what's in the show? Yes, but it's not official. So this is official. Like, this is what it is. So at the same time, though, it opens up so many possibilities, because now, like, Celestia and Luna aren't gods. They're ascended. They've I made the illusion that they were like enlightened ones, and that's what an Alicorn is. And for me, the same thing with a princess. We're arguing about princesshood. I don't think princess means in Equestria what princess does here, because we have 4 princesses. We have no queens. We have no kings. So, I mean, from a marketing standpoint, it's obvious why it's done. It's because king and queen is a negative connotation in children's media. Prince and princess has a positive one. So it's a marketing choice, just how it's supposed to be Queen Celestia. And they didn't do that because queen sounds evil. But from a storytelling standpoint, it's pretty obvious to me, and will they roll with it or not, who knows? It's probably not something that's ever going to really be approached. But it can easily be interpreted that princess doesn't mean princess the way it does to us. princess is just a title. A title meaning, someone who is of immense importance. So it's a small thing to really get hung up on. So is she another princess? Yeah, but she's freaking Alicorn. There's like 4 of them now, and that's it. Out of who knows how many ponies. Until the story tells us otherwise, that there's a freaking Alicorn UN where all the people meet up and talk about stuff. Like, there's only 4 Alicorns. So to call her a princess isn't to say that, oh, she's like gonna marry into royalty or whatever, even though she technically kind of was because of Shining Armor and all that jazz. But it's a title to represent her ascension and her mastery over the magic of friendship. So I think it works for the framework that they've established. They did amazingly well for something that was a blatant toy bait to give it narrative weight, because it also retroactively gave every slice of life story in the entire series narrative purpose toward a singular unified goal of Twilight Ascending.
Twilight. And see, I can kind of agree with you that they did a pretty admirable job at the whole Alicorn Twilight thing. I don't disagree with their decision to do that. I think they just kind of wrapped it up pretty well, but I think it came a bit at the cost of, a lot of those continuity things and just kind of making a lot of the show really confusing and losing its... something like that. It just kind of feels like it's splitting off into several different directions and it's not sure where it's going, and I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with Season 4 is a lot of the problem, because they made things really confusing up to this point. Season
4 is going to be either continue to be disjointed, but based on they've been talking about, I really think that Season 4 is, because they did Season 3. And understand that Season 3 was 13 episodes because they wanted to get the show ready for syndication. Again, a marketing decision that the creative team has to work around. So 65 episodes, you can pack it up, you can ship it out to other people, have them run it in syndication, make big bucks that way without any real effort. So, Hasbro's going to jump on that because that's what they do. They make money. DHX has to, I think Megan had said that it was like really stressful working on Season 3 because of the constraints put on them. So, understandable. And for me, again, it was a transitional period. It was them taking the reins of something that Lauren obviously had a very concrete idea of what she wanted and what she didn't want. You listen to any of the voice actors or the people working on the show, they always said that Lauren knew exactly what she wanted out of these characters, out of the lore, out of everything. It was very concrete. There was no guesswork. Now there is nothing but guesswork because she's gone, and you have this big narrative change you need to do by yourself. So I think it was definitely kind of, like grabbing the reins and trying to figure out like how we leave our mark on this, on something that we don't have the guidance of that person who came up with everything in the first place. So there's going to be a lot of changes. But now they've had 13 episodes of Season 3. They've established a direction they want to go in. And they've had all this time to solidify that. And now they have a full season, 26 episodes for Season 4, to deal with the fallout of the decisions they've made. And I think we're going to see a much more cohesive, concrete vision of what's going forward, because the concepts they've presented need to be clarified, and now they have the time to do it, and they have the excuse to do it. They've said that the first 2 episodes of Season 4 are going to be a continuation of the finale, and that's exactly what they should be doing, because like here you've retroactively changed the foundation of the lore. Like, you look at the beginning of Season 1, Episode 1, and then what happens here, there's a disconnect. And it's obvious, and that's understandable because there's 2 different people writing those things, So I think with Season 4, I'm really excited because I'm excited to see the concept that they've come up with and fleshing it out, giving it the time to really say, okay, this is the idea that we came up with, and this is how we're going to make it work. So I'm optimistic. I think that these people have proven that they're capable creators and can deliver something on this concept. So.
Well, curious, I do kind of... I admire that because I've seen how... Because I think Season 2 is way better than the first season. I think they went above and beyond to really build on their world and get some great ideas out in there. But just kind of what happened with 3 and just how disjointed it was, I'm one of those pessimistic members thinking Season 4 could flop because they kind of ended up painting themselves into a corner.
Could you define disjointed for me there?
Basically that I think they they just kind of did some things without really thinking ahead and just kind of how it would all pan out, and a lot of it didn't feel interconnected, and they were kind of strange in their standalone ways.
For example, the fact that the whole Wonderbolt Academy thingy, and then it's not mentioned afterwards that she might be a Wonderbolt more or less now after the boot camp, and
but then after that they don't follow up on it.
Yeah, exactly. Or Discord isn't even mentioned for the rest of the series, the episode. Sorry, season. God damn it. So yeah, they were all the episodes, really, except the one thingy with the book at the end of Crystal Empire and the return of the book in the Magic and Mystery Cure. There has been none connection between all the episodes. They were all standalones. I mean, okay, this had been more or less a thing in the previous seasons as well. I mean, with the exception of season 1, where the Gala arc is kind of stretching over 3 episodes, I guess. The Ticketmaster, the Out of the Dress, and finally the Best Night Ever. But it still hasn't had this feel to it that there are big things happening, but nobody's talking about them anymore. 1 week later, and we're not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the show, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that
it is.
My biggest complaint with Wonderbolt Academy is that bringing up that character growth that has been so integral from this character, literally since her first appearance in season 1. She talked about the Wonderbolts. And by not bringing it home, who knows when it's going to be mentioned again, because the format of the show doesn't allow for, the next episode to be like, oh yeah, how was the Wonderbolt Academy? Like, it's not going to work like that. That's not how the show operates.
Well, I imagine the next Rainbow Dash episode might just, have that. Might just have her be doing Wonderbolt things.
Well, so I'm actually more worried about is, I'm worried about them playing it too safe in the next season, because I think that's something they did way too much in the third season, I'm sorry. Because, honestly, some of them felt like they were driven straight from fanboy requests, like the whole Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash thing. And then
Trixie's reappearance.
Well,
you see,
her whole redemption arc.
Sorry.
Yeah. Let me just say something really quick here. You gotta remember that I think between season 2 and season 3, the writers and everybody, I don't know if they started going to conventions, but they actually, they went to a lot. They heard a lot of requests and people like fanboying over telling them everything they would love to see, and they probably took some of those ideas, saying, "Hey, we can actually make this somewhat doable, so we can appease to our fans."
But yeah, that's what I think they did. They made compromises.
I'm going to disagree there. I think that, especially with Scootaloo now becoming, learning from Rainbow Dash, that's just a natural progression kind of thing. She's been a fan of Rainbow Dash forever.
I gotta disagree, because look at the Mare-de-Well episode, because she...
So what?
She became a bit of a turn-off halfway through that episode with Rainbow Dash.
Wait, who here listened to Mysterious Mare-de-Well?
I have the counter proof. Even earlier, season 1 episode Showstoppers. After the show, Applejack and Rarity both come backstage to greet their little sisters, and Rainbow Dash as well as the third, more or less big sistery thingy. So it was kind of building up from season 1. So
I think another thing
you did have
to even talk in that whole episode. And there was no interaction with Scootaloo, is what I'm saying.
Something to remember about the way the show works, and this is something I try and do just because I'm a storyteller, so I understand. I'm thinking about the behind-the-scenes stuff and trying my best to separate things like that from what's actually presented, because again, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that dictate a lot of things that go on in the actual show that you don't usually think about. These episodes are written months and months and months and months and months and months and months in advance, So in terms of Magic Duel was written in the beginning of 2011, before the fandom even had picked up any steam. And if you think, and as obvious and painfully obvious as it looks like that, oh, Trixie came back because we're all obsessed with Trixie, and Seth loves Trixie. she was the only like antagonist outside of like the season openers and stuff that wasn't like redeemed by the end of the episode, because the majority of the antagonists in the show aren't true antagonists. They're just episode antagonists, because a lot of the time the antagonists of the episode technically are the members of the main cast doing something wrong and apologizing for it at the end. And that's kind of how the show works. It teaches a lesson by having someone doing something wrong, realizing it by the end, apologizing, moving on.
I think they kind of abandoned that later on.
Yeah, but we're talking about season 1 right now because we're talking about Trixie.
So also Gilda hasn't been redeemed. She wasn't redeemed.
Yeah, they're asking for another guild episode, so we'll see.
But this is rolling back into the point I just brought up. I mean, I'm worried about season 4 making compromises, and trying to play it safe and not really. What I'd like to see them do is definitely go into the different character arcs and so on, and actually, see Rainbow Dash going off their own thing, and I guess all the other characters kind of going off and doing all their own thing. And I'd like to see them experiment with this notion of having the characters split up and having maybe turmoil in the relationships and stuff like that. But what I'm worried about is they're going to go on gags and falling back on fan requests and just making general compromises for the sake of convenience or things like that. And that's just what I'm generally worried about, and that's why I'm so pessimistic about it. Because season 3 really felt like they were a little lazy coming up with ideas there.
Like, you say lazy, but I don't think of it like... I mean, if something is so obvious to the fandom that we have so many stories about Scootaloo and Rainbow Dash together, or Trixie coming back, it's going to be obvious to the writers too, because it just makes literary sense.
Yeah, I mean we're all storytellers. People in the fandom telling stories, the same cues are going to be picked up by the writers themselves. And the fact of the matter is, why would you have Scootaloo idolize Rainbow Dash so much and not jump on that? That's like the perfect bait.
Yeah.
The Symphoniaville.
That took so long to come back up, though. And
Yeah, but
it came back a little bit awkward.
I mean, I'll say it definitely was too long to have a Scootaloo episode. Should have had that sooner, but hey, I'm fine with it.
The fact of the matter is that we don't see the Cutie Mark Crusaders every episode. How many Cutie Mark Crusader episodes did it take to get to that? Only 5. Because how many CMC episodes have there been? I mean, we don't spend a lot of time with those characters.
The thing is also that the episodes are mostly written individually. So the thing is, usually they can, as long as it is not one writer who happens to create multiple episodes in one season in a row, and he can kind of plan out more or less aspects leaping over. All the other writers can only start referring or taking developments as canon one season later, because only then they really know everything that happened, because not everybody reads everything that happened. So yeah, this kind of big developments that build on each other, only happen from season to season. So this is also why it took so long, even so the foundation had been there from season 1, the whole obsessing of Scootaloo. I believe it had been there even before Maya Do Well. She is totally wow, Rainbow Dash is awesome. And as I mentioned in the showstopper, she is more or less with the bigger sisters coming backstage to congratulate the girls.
We're getting a real thorough analysis fix here, aren't we?
Well, what did you expect, I guess?
Yeah, what did I expect?
Look who you're talking to. I mean, really.
Fine example of thorough analysis work right here.
Should I start being random again? I can be random.
Nah.
I can help him.
Okay, okay, you all know the text by now? 1 and 2 and...
Wait.
What?
No, I can't.
Why can't you?
I can't help you in this. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stableside Discussions and Disputes, commonly mistaken for Equestrian Idol.
Aww.
This is your singing telegram. We hope it finds you well. You're invited to a party because we think you're really swell. Don't be turning 1-year-old to help us celebrate. The cake will be delicious. The food will be first rate. Okay, I'm done.
happened? What happened to? Oh God damn it! Now I know what Urishima in the chat is referring to. He's asking for what happened to me on a beach in Spain. I don't know. Do I really have to retell the story?
No, not the time. Not the time.
Not the time.
But a
Not
beach
the time,
in
not the
Spain.
place.
A beach in Spain. Don't you want to
Don't
know?
worry, you can do another video on that later.
Of course.
Aww, but
There's
it's not
always
like-
more episodes.
Okay, how about we just devote one of our episodes to And My Pony's story? No, just talk all about that beach in Spain for an hour.
So I just realized we're coming up on an hour, so why don't we go ahead and rope this right back into our topic. So I guess we've all had a pretty plentiful discussion on our thoughts on seasons 1, 2, and 3, the technical aspects of it, behind the scenes, and I was kind of hoping we were going to talk more about the, I suppose, curious, you were talking about the characterization and just kind of the thinking of it as just things going on and stuff in the show.
Yeah.
We never actually touched base with that, so would you like to do that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how some of the characters in the show have an overarching arc that they're going on, and it's difficult to do in a show like this, and it's pretty surprising that they've decided to do this, and I think a good surprise because I like characters with depth. But the nature of how the show is presented is that you have your 22-minute slice of life story. It's usually pretty independent of the others, but the characters in the show are more than just, your stereotypical cardboard cutouts. There's strengths and weaknesses that each of them have. And not only that, a lot of them are working towards goals. And it's not just like stated for the sake of being stated. There's progress being made in that, and they were referenced a lot. And when you get good character development in the show, it's usually the characters attempting to accomplish it. I think the 3 best examples of character-driven storytelling in the show would probably be Suited for Success, Wonderbolt's Academy, and Hurricane Fluttershy. And all 3 of those are really in-depth character analysis of the titular characters, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Fluttershy. Because there's overarching conflicts that these characters are dealing with. Rarity is, as I've said many times, the best character because she's the most complex in the show, because she has these goals and aspirations that really conflict with where she is and what she's doing, and it's really interesting. And in Suited for Success, we see her her struggle as an artist. We see it again in Sweet and Elite really well as that like stuck between two worlds kind of deal, where she should be in Canterlot, she should be abandoning her friends, she should to accomplish the goal, like her dream. That's where she should be, like talking with all these people that understand that. And it also dealt with her emotional baggage of like these characters in Canterlot almost looking down at her for coming from a backwater place like Ponyville, and that's something she can't control and can't fix. It's just something she has to internally deal with, and that's a really powerful character conflict to work through, especially in a children's show, like dealing with something that's beyond your control and having to deal with this like perception of others upon you. And it's really an interesting character quirk to work through. So I just really enjoy Rarity's conflict because it's ongoing. It's not something that start and stopped in one thing. It's not like they brought up this thing in Suited for Success and then never talked about it again. She wants to be successful like that. She wants to make dresses for the big celebrities in Canterlot, and she's been showing to kind of making progress towards that. And again, it's a children's show, so we're not getting like a play-by-play of everything. We can see her struggle like in real time as it continues to grow from episode to episode, but it's being referenced and showing that that's there. It's the same thing with Rainbow Dash. When she wants to join the Wonderbolts, it was talked about as soon as she was introduced, and they've come back to it multiple times with Sonic Rainboom, showing how like her Wonderbolts goal is still there. She wants to join the Wonderbolts. She met the Wonderbolts and like trying to impress them. And again, even like the best part of season 3 in my opinion, was in Wonderbolt's Academy when she slams down that wing pony thing. Is like, I'm done, and that's like, I'm going to give up my dream for the sake of my ethics, and that just spoke volumes about her character, and that was such development because we have like 3 seasons of her like being like Wonderbolts, like that's all I'm about, and then when push comes to shove, it's like, no, I'm still the element of loyalty, and I'm loyal to my ethical standings to my friends more than this dream that's been all that I have been for 2 years.
Curious, let me tell you something. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think the defining moment of that episode was not when she slammed the badge down, because I kind of saw that coming a mile away, just because, you know, it's a plot device, because we need plot devices in these episodes. But something that I don't see in any other time this plot device is used is the minute right after she walks out the door, and just kind of her reaction, her face, her expression that she did that, and it was like, Every other thing I see with this plot device is like, okay, I'm alright with ditching my hopes and dreams because something went wrong. I think the best characterization I've seen from the show was that expression Rainbow made right after she walked out that door, and
because it just sells the fact that that was hard to do, and even though she was caught up in the emotion of the moment and did it with conviction, the gravity of the situation was still being expressed through that emoting.
But
it wasn't
I like how it dawned on her what she did the second she walked out that door, and just it was a very regretful thing she did, and I thought that was some brilliant characterization, if not the best characterization in the show, in my opinion.
And then Hurricane Fluttershy, you know, kind of developing, exploring a bit about why Fluttershy is so shy, and showing that it's not something she's okay with. It's something that she wants to get better at. Not that she wants to be Rainbow Dash or anything and be a braggart, but she understands that it's a limitation, and that even though it's who she is, there are times when she would rather work past that. So the problem is with Fluttershy, none of these advances ever really stick because, again, we have multiple writers. But self-contained wise, like, those are my 3 favorite examples of characterization because they spoke so much about the characters. And that's one of the things I have a problem with Applejack. As much as I love Applejack, is she doesn't have anything like that, you know? Twilight's is done because Twilight is just trying to learn everything, and she's at the point now where she's learned everything about friendship, and she's probably going to be starting a new arc in season 4, whatever that'll be. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to, but Pinkie Pie is Pinkie Pie, so she's just she's the wild card of the group, and she just does whatever for gags. So she doesn't go anywhere.
I think A&Y would disagree with you if I remember one of his particular episodes.
Yes,
I was totally not paying attention to the chat and
while we were kind of talking about characterization, and then we mentioned Pinkie Pie, and then Brony Curious was all Pinkie Pie being Pinkie Pie, but I suddenly remembered your one episode where you talked about Pinkie Pie having to zap off and not go into, you know, dull do chores mode that she kind of does in some of her episodes.
Yeah, if she, for example, in the first episode, if you would follow her instead of just letting her leave this story and returning later on. And yeah, usually the episodes she's in have the problem that, it's hard to focus on her to keep it. But she's not the only one. Actually, a lot of characters, for example, like Spike, have the problem that they work completely different as supportive characters than as featured characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. It's the same thing with Applejack too. I mean, her only good appearance.
Applejack is the best background pony.
But I mean, she works so well in Applebuck season. That was like one of the best episodes because it was a complete arc for her, and it's beginning, middle, and end. It established a conflict, stayed with her the whole time. We learned about what she was trying to do, why she was acting the way she was, and at the end she learned something. It was great. But that was like the only time. Yeah. You know? Like you can say the sleepover one.
Look before you sleep.
Thank you. Look before you sleep. She grew in that as well. And that was one of my favorite episodes. But after that, what does Applejack have to do? You know? She doesn't do anything. She doesn't have any goals. And the problem is because her goals were accomplished when she was a kid. What she wanted to do was work on the farm. And she's doing that. So, like, her goals have been accomplished. And that's fine because she's a great supporting character because she's the voice of wisdom. She's the one who's the most established out of the main cast. And so when you have a problem, you go to Applejack because Applejack's grounded. She knows what's up. She knows her shit. So if you have a problem, you go to her. You know, Applejack, why do you have to be so good and make me look so bad? So Applejack knows what's up, and that's great. She's a great supporting character, and she's shown to be very mature. You know, in Dragonshy, when she's like, everyone else is like, Fluttershy, fuck, you're so annoying. She's like, I'll take Fluttershy up the mountain the other way. It's all right. It's all good. She doesn't care about it because she's Applejack, and she knows what's going on. She's empathetic, understands, and she's the most mature member of the cast. But what is she gonna do when she stars in an episode? Because she's dumb. I don't want to see her buck apples for 22 minutes. I don't think anybody else does either.
What? This is kind of harsh. Haven't you been one of the guys who mentioned that you would be totally fine watching Rarity making dresses for 22 minutes?
Yeah, but Rarity would have an interesting inner dialogue the whole time.
Yeah,
Applejack is bucking apples.
Applejack maybe does the same.
If Applejack might do the same, but the show has done nothing to show me that that's the case. I can't imagine that would be so. I'm basing it on what we've been shown. Applejack her goals are done. And she needs to do something.
I'm bucking apple trees. I'm bucking all the apples. They are falling down into baskets. Something like this. You see, it's very easy. You just can imagine Applejack having an episode.
If I wanted that episode, I can just get a GIF of her from the opening when she kicks the tree in the bucket's fall and just play that for 22 minutes. There you go. There's your Applejack episode.
But, okay, I admit, basically I agree with you on the whole Applejack issue. This is also why when I'm asked about the good old best pony question, and usually I'm a terrible, what's Klugscheißer in English? God damn it, I should know it. Wisecracker, I guess. Smartass, yes. I'm usually...
yes, smartass is the word.
Smartass! Klugscheißer. For everybody who wants to learn a little bit of German, Klugscheißer is smartass. Nevertheless, I'm usually a little bit of a smartass about it, like, best is objective, but you are actually asking about my favorite pony. But yeah, that's why I'm usually saying, yeah, best pony? Applejack is best pony. Look at her. She's just perfect. She is hardworking, blah, family person, good friend, helps everybody. She's best pony objectively. But yeah, I agree that this is kind of a problem from a narrative point of view, to tell something interesting about somebody who is already best without too many flaws, just a little bit of stubbornness, but this was solved in the fourth episode.
I haven't come back to it, you know. I just wanted her to do something. Just do something.
That is not bucking apples.
This is happening. This is happening. Because...
Well, either they gotta find a new flaw for her, or a new thing she has to overcome.
Yeah, I already found it. Let me finish, God damn it! I'm leaving the stream now!
AY's got control of the stream now. Let him speak.
I have to mute everybody. No,
he's the one holding the talking stick. For those of you who know what that is.
Everybody can see. Wait, I actually have a stick here. I could use it.
Uh-oh.
No, the perfect solution, and I will get so much flame for it. Let her meet an interesting stallion and go her through the troubles of romance.
Dude, just meet to be a stallion. Just meet to be a stallion. Just have her date Rarity. Perfect.
But then when you can't do that. The problem is when you pair up Applejack with either Rarity or Rainbow Dash, all the shipping fanboys will be like, oh no, my chip is destroyed. A certain.
I think that'd be the least of the creators' worries.
Fanboys think. Miss Fortune, you could try to re-invite a certain someone who is now not longer on a way.
Uh-oh, he's actually not away. Folks, we might get Digibrony in here.
God. Well, I hope we've all had fun talking, because no one's gonna talk now.
He might be here. Oh my god, it's Digibrony!
What is happening?
Hey there.
We're talking about characters.
1 hour and 15 minutes late. Where have you been?
I didn't know there was a thing happening.
I told you 2 different times we had a thing happening.
Should I check my Skype history when I told you about this? Miss Fortune, do the same.
Oh yeah, I could totally pull that up. But I'm not-
Hey dude, about Misfortune Podcast. The show starts a bit less than 2 hours over here. That's at 4:11, which was
Yeah,
right
I sent you that message 2 hours before we were airing.
I
right.
sent you his contact days ago.
Yeah.
Was something, wasn't it?
Didn't know this was happening.
Totally
I was
didn't know
out
this was
seeing
happening when you told this twice.
I was out seeing Iron Man 3.
Oh,
How
you.
was that?
You.
Was it even any good?
It was fantastic.
I heard it should be better than Iron Man 2, so I have to see it.
Brony Curious hates it,
Ponies.
so
Yeah, I thought it
Pony.
was pretty bad.
Ponies.
I thought it was perfect.
Okay,
Like
in comparison, before we go back to ponies, shut up, honey.
Yeah, you know what? When did this happen?
I'm taking all the flirting from the chat now to the stream.
Okay.
No, how are your Digi and we're curious your opinions on the new Star Trek? Because I saw this today and I thought it was pretty awesome, and now I want to hear which one of you has an equal feeling about sci-fi.
well, I haven't seen the new Star Trek.
Oh, God.
I just
You
was out
don't know
seeing
help
Iron
at all.
Man.
Is Iron Man better than Star Trek?
You're not, or you are?
Mm,
What? I didn't get it.
Neither of us have seen new Star Trek.
None of us have seen the new Star Trek.
I
No.
wasn't even aware there was a new Star Trek.
I didn't even know it
Haven't
was out
seen
yet.
any of the Star Trek movies.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna try and rope this back into the topic, and why I'm gonna pick up where the heck you were talking about. First things first, though, Digibrony, now that you are finally here,
Yeah.
would you like to give a very brief introduction on yourself?
Who is this guy? I don't know him.
We're
Never
gonna
heard of
pretend
him.
nobody here knows who you are, and nobody from the chat knows who you are, even though half of them consists of your fans.
Oh wait, so there's a
Specifically
chat
here to see
too.
you.
Oh, okay. There's a Twitch going on. Wait, are we?
It's not a Twitch, it's a live stream.
Are we in Brony Curious's live stream?
No!
No,
we're
the problem is the SD3 live stream has a viewer limit of 50, so we kind of
There's
doing,
46
we're-
of them now.
So we're like simultaneously in two different
Yes.
live streams.
but
I
the
see.
official one
Oh,
is the
God.
live stream one.
Sorry, I had to turn off the audio there on the live
Oh.
stream. It got very
Anyway.
confusing very quickly.
Anyway, Digibrony, tell us
Yes.
a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you do your thorough analyzing stuff.
All right. Well, I'm Digibrony. Hi, Digibrony.
Hi, Digibrony.
Phone A.
It's like this is now an A. It's like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or something. Ponyholics Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I'm a guy who does analysis, which I know it sounds obvious, but that's like all I do. So that's that pretty much summarizes my life. Is that I analyze things a lot.
And that got you 30,000 subscribers?
Everyone is screaming Destiny. I don't understand. Is this related to EQD or something?
I don't know, but go on.
Oh, I know. But go on.
Okay. Was there more to say? Yeah,
sir.
that's pretty much what I do. Is I do analysis. I've been doing analysis for a really long time. Not pony analysis per se. I was doing mostly. I've been running an anime blog for about 6 years, and I really enjoy analyzing stuff because I consider it, for me personally, I consider it mostly to be self-obsession because I'm really obsessed with the idea of figuring out everything about myself, why I like the things I like or do the things I do even. So, when I get into a show, I want to know exactly why I'm into it so much. So, yeah, that's pretty much the basis of why I do analysis. And I don't know, it's just it's something I can't stop. I have no off switch for analysis. It just happens all the time. It's all the thoughts I have are just me analyzing things. So that's yeah, like I said, it's just my life.
Well, I probably should have asked this question really early on to ANY and Brony Curious, and now you, Digi. Would you guys consider yourself more of conspiracy theorists, where you're trying to pluck out details from the show and try to put it together in some cohesive narrative, or are you more of a critic? Where you're
Did you just call the New Lunar Republic a conspiracy?
Yeah,
Probably.
they have weapons of mass destruction on the moon.
Uh-oh.
They kind
On
of
the
do, don't
moon.
The Death Laser, Death Star, whatever the hell that quote was from Austin Powers. Yeah, that was a question. Would you say yourself as more of kind of folks that pick up theories and stuff from the show, or do you just kind of review it as a critic and stuff? And want to take away that?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
You go, Max.
I more or less have a little bit split personality about this. In my reviews, I am, at least as long as I'm not joking, when I'm more in the serious mode, I'm actually trying to be very honest about it and stick to the material in the show. And when I'm not, when I'm going into headcanon territory, I usually explain that it is more headcanon. But recently, after finishing seasons, all the reviews of season 3, I started a lot of subsections that are more focused on headcanons and randomness, and so yeah, I'm pretty much going into the conspiracy direction, I guess.
Alright, so you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yes, I am.
Curious, are you
I mean,
a
have you
critic
seen
or a
my-
conspiracy theorist?
Have you seen my cutie mark? This screams conspiracy, but sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just a guy who likes literature, and I'm just looking for like literary elements.
Appreciate it as an art.
I do, because that's what I do myself, and I guess my thing, I like when I make these like theory videos and when I write my fan fiction and stuff, I like coming up with ideas that can't be disproven, but also are pretty similar in tone to the show. That like it could be what the show's talking about, but you can't prove me wrong. So that's why like when both Match Duel came out, I was pissed off. It was like, oh, it ruined my like little niche that I like doing with my Trixie stories. I had to go back and revise it a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I appreciate it as an art form. I've been silently analyzing things forever, I guess. I never really thought anyone would give two craps until I started putting it on YouTube. But like, I have like tons of comics, tons of DVDs, tons of video games. And I always think about that because I'm like, what do I like about this, and how can I integrate what I like about it into the things that I make? So I've been doing that forever, and then I just started projecting it once I started participating in the pony fandom, because it was my first fandom I've ever participated in, and apparently I can do it decently enough so people care about what I'm talking about.
So it is safe to say you're a conspiracy theorist.
Sure.
Maybe a conspiracy appreciator?
Yeah, I will go with that.
Fair enough.
I appreciate a good mind fuck every now and then.
This is Brony. What would you say you are? Theorist or critic?
Alright, so I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm about to take this off the deep end in terms of talking way too much. But basically, the way I see it is that, hold on, let me formulate exactly what I want to say here. Because I'm not really going to choose either side of this binary, but rather, the way I see it, I'm going to say basically that everyone is a conspiracy theorist in a way, in that I think that each of us kind of has our own structure of what the show or anything is. I believe I explained this in like my season 3 opener where I said that it was like season 3 review, you know what I mean. I was like, everyone kind of shapes reality to their own perception. And so the way I see it, when you watch a show, there is no there is obviously what happens in the show, like in a factual fashion, like Pinkie Pie said these words, she made this face. But in terms of like what any of that means, that's always filtered through yourself, your person. So if a character says this line, then the fact is Pinkie Pie said words. But if it's Pinkie Pie said words and this elicited this reaction in Applejack, then that's where we're starting to interpret things. So I think for me, what I really enjoy about analysis is seeing the minute differences in how everyone will interpret the same thing. You would think that everyone would see it similarly or even the same way, but the fact of the matter is that everyone will see something like very differently. Even if it seems really similar, there can be just these subtle differences that change a lot. And so that's a big part of why I like that that there's so much analysis, because I can see these small little differences between each person's perception of what's going on. And to me, a really great analysis is one where you can really define what something means to you, how you see it, And so I try to. That's the idea behind where I use like the word thorough analysis, is that I want to be like as clear about what I saw and like explore as much of what I saw as possible. And I say, here's what I saw. What do you think? Did you see this? Did you see something else? So yeah, I guess in a way, even without jumping into headcanon territory where you're explicitly things that aren't evident in the show, I guess it's kind of like where Brony Curious said that he usually chooses headcanons that could be part of the show, that aren't disproven by the show. And in a way, having those kind of headcanons is no different from just understanding the show a certain way, because even what happens can be understood in different manners. So you're understanding it in a way that chooses to include extra information that might not be explicitly obvious in the show, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would say that I'm a conspiracy theorist, but then we all are, is basically what I'm getting at.
Spoken like a true thorough analyst.
A true thorough analyst who says that Twilight puked into a puddle of mud.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what the story behind that is.
Yeah, I had a headcanon video. It's about 20 seconds long. It just explains that in episode 1, Rainbow Dash like crashes into Twilight when Twilight had a full stomach, and Twilight like face plants in this puddle, and when she gets up, she doesn't have a full stomach anymore. And if you look at it, it kind of looks like there's some ripples like from her mouth into the puddle, and it's like, puked her lunch into that puddle.
Well, thanks. Now I won't be having dinner.
I think the grossest part about that is like after that, like the puddle goes away when Rainbow Dash does the rainbow dry, so like all of her stomach puke chunks are in her hair now.
Well, the grossest part for me is that almost literally, I'd say 80% of the comments on that video are people saying, that wasn't puke, that puddle was brown. Like everyone was implying she shat herself. Like,
Oh my gosh. Alright, so Maya, I think we were talking about something having to do with characterization.
Applejack, how she's not going anywhere, was
Yeah, and my point was you could introduce a whole set of new stories for her to go through if you make her the one main six who discovers romance and has to discover. She's totally dedicated to her family and her farm, but then she gets to learn this stallion, mayor, whatever, who is a new character who moves new to Boneyville, and she's totally getting. She gets interested, but I also would not say. I don't know. Either make it an episode of its own, but then move this whole arc into the background. So because we don't want another Ponytails, we don't want a constant focus on this topic. Because
the trouble there, though, is that in order to really do justice to a romantic relationship, you kind of do gotta explore it a lot, Like, or else it's just gonna feel kind of cheap. Like they just do a character in there so that someone would have a romantic relationship,
Whereas he is there now from then on. He would be there every now and then. You would. I'm thinking about an example.
Even better than having an episode for it, I would think it would be interesting if it was a character who just started showing up and like maybe they had flirtatious dialogue every once in a while, and it just kind of became apparent that it was a thing. Like never really. Or even if they did explicitly state it, they wouldn't even need a whole episode dedicated to it.
Dude, we're already halfway down that path. It's called Bearjack, okay? Have you watched the show?
Right, exactly. Riverjack's a great ship, and I also I don't know. I was because I've tried to rationalize every pairing possible between the main six. I used to like Appleshy, not so much because I'm like really interested in how their relationship would be. It just seems like it would work really easily. But I don't know.
Love to see you explain Dash sometime.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyone who will do one on. Let me just do one thing here. If someone is going to do a Rare Dash thing, I suggest a lovely little fanfic. One that is just. Oh God.
What's it called?
This is kind of an inside joke.
Okay.
It is. I'm sorry for derailing, but if anyone who's actually watched the Thick Week, you know what I'm talking about, and if not, I try to tell the story of this fic wherever I go, just to see their looks on people's faces.
I see.
And
What was the famous quote from that fic, by the way?
she'll live eventually. I feel so bad for this author. If they're still listening, I am just so sorry, but I can't not say anything about it.
That's the best quote in existence. By the way.
Right now I'm looking at the comments in Brody Curious's stream, and this is just... So I ship fucking Urishima. I ship Digi and Hot Topic. Thanks, Urishima.
I had a point about Applejack.
Speak it.
I think, well, one thing she tends to deal with an awful lot, or at least seems like a motivation for her, is the fact that her family needs money for various things. Like, it motivated her to go to the gala and sell stuff. But I think they could bring that to the forefront in an episode. That could be a good conflict for her, is just having to try and immediately deal with the financial troubles.
That would actually be a good episode, because, the farm being all important and stuff.
Yeah.
That would just piss me off because I hate capitalism, and if they brought... I like to imagine that that capitalism is not a necessity in Equestria. So if they brought money to the forefront, I'd be like, fuck, I hate this shit.
Actually, capitalism is complete bullcrap, because I specifically recall one thing A and White Pony was talking about with the really janky, nonsensical currency system in Equestria.
It's driving me insane.
Take my bit!
That's because there's no monetary system. There's no necessity for money in Equestria. Okay.
But it's so. I just had to write it down for the Ask videos. This will be an Ask video. Thanks for reminding me about this.
Max, did this start bothering you after that podcast we did with Biter? Is that where this started bothering you?
It started with the whole episode of just for
One
side
teeny tiny minuscule Jim buys a giant hair blower.
Exactly. And I mean, there is actual. I mean, what is it? I mean, yes.
This is why adults should not watch children's cartoons.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's so inconsistent how money works.
Almost, really.
I think I worked out, like, assuming tomato prices there and here are similar, like, a bit is about $3.
How do you explain cherries then?
1 bit.
I can't.
20 bits.
11 bits.
11
New
teens.
number.
Alright, I think we're kind of delving a little bit into the world stuff, so what do you guys have to say about that?
You just asked us, what do you have to say about the world stuff?
It's a serious question, the Equestria world stuff. What do you guys have to say about
Plots is fine, world stuff. World building? Like,
world building, things in the world, how BS
Culture.
the currency system
The
is,
place.
and the weird magics.
the thing.
The place.
people.
I
It's
think
a
that's a
thing.
bit too broad a topic.
Oh, I can stumble a bit more about currency and how crazy it is.
I
Well-
think you should save that for your thing.
Well, it is a little too simple about this whole bit.
Okay,
Simple.
I think one thing I'm trying to get across is just kind of consistency, I think. Because we were talking about consistency earlier, and I think the world being a little, or just kind of world building being inconsistent.
Right. The thing is that, with MLP, it's one of those shows where they've deliberately tried to leave as much open as possible so that they can do as much as possible. As soon as they start declaring things like, this is how it is in this world, then they lose possibilities of whatever random plot line they might want to try to shoehorn in, So, if they were to say something like, this definitively takes place before we have the technology for video, and then they wanted to do something where there was video, then they would lose that opportunity. So they try to leave as much up in the air and loose fluid as possible. So most of what the world banks on is just having visual consistency. They want all the places to look similar, all in the same art style, all very meld together well. Each place has like a unique sort of atmosphere to it. But as soon as they start saying again, this is how it is, then that's when they'll start losing the opportunity to do whatever they want.
I can't help but think of some things that sort of come out of left field, like, wait a minute, elements of harmony create the alicorns? So, that...
Wait. Huh?
I'm sorry, just... I can't not think about that and just kind of think of how out of left field and out of place it feels, having the elements of harmony being an alicorn creator 9000.
That's not what creates the alicorns.
Yeah,
know,
that didn't happen.
But I'm trying to apply that to the other 3 alicorns in the show.
But I mean, I don't think that actually happened.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Well, I know that.
She wasn't.
But I'm
She
saying,
wasn't turned into
What
an.
was the actual case then with Cadence, Luna, and Celestia?
Well,
Well, the
with
thing is, the
Cadence-
elements of harmony brought Twilight to that Twilight zone. If anything, it was Celestia who kind of did
Like-
the thing.
Well,
Did the
it's
thing
hard
with
to
the place.
say.
yeah, you could say
But-
maybe Celestia helped bring it out in Twilight,
Mhm.
but it seemed like it was mostly Twilight, kind of
Yeah,
an
I mean,
internal
this
thing.
goes back to ambiguity and how it's so...
Right. Exactly. Ambiguity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just wanting to get some theories out here, and
Yeah.
Headcanons going on.
I mean, that ambiguity has a lot to do with why there is such a vibrant community of headcanon in this fandom. You know,
I was just
everyone.
talking about how we're going to do a video on this. We have to collab on it now.
Oh, what about
We're doing-
ambiguity?
We're doing a collab video on ambiguity.
Me and you?
Yep, done.
Okay. I mean, it won't be hard.
you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah,
To the people who ask me all the time how I do collabs, this is how it starts. This
Right.
is how it happens. I'm like, you want a collab? Okay. That's how you do it. It's
Oh,
that
apparently sometimes it starts without you even being told, since Anthony C just like wrote me into you
Right?
guys. Like, he literally just Brony Curious comes to Anthony C and he's like, hey, I want to do a collab on this thing because DigiBrony told me it would be a good idea to do it, and then like Anthony starts writing it and he just writes me into it, like writes all my dialogue for this collab.
simple. Yeah.
And so Brony Curious just links me a doc and he's like, so I guess you're saying lines in our collaboration. It's like, oh, I see. Okay. I'm okay with this.
The very complex lives of thorough analysis.
Right.
Analyzers, analysts.
I actually spent like most of my morning talking to Anthony C on Skype for the first time. That was exciting. That guy's super cool.
He's awesome.
Super cool.
It's quite
You
strange.
fanboy about Anthony C a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He asked me to be his pony waifu, and I was like, oh yeah?
Oh, Tubby Pony Waifu.
He added me on
Did
Skype
she-
today. We chatted for the first time just today.
I said, but what will Brody Curious say? And he said he can be the best bear.
Oh.
And then I said, you know what, Brody Curious will understand. And so I took him up.
Well, unfortunately, I have nothing on Anthony C, so if you want to
Uh-oh.
get some of that, I can't really...
The man is truly beautiful.
I have nothing to say in defense of myself. Like,
Exactly.
I'm utterly outclassed by Anthony C, so...
Right, exactly.
If you want some of that Australian goodness, what can I do, you know?
I mean, oh my god, just when I'm talking to him and I'm just like hearing his voice, and it's his voice. He's not putting on an act in the video or anything. That's just how he sounds. He just has an insanely sexy voice.
Even, oh, we
It
gotta
would
make
be
him sing
so
now.
awesome if there would be something like a motion comic featuring this magical voice.
Oh, dude, that'd be so sick.
Yes, this
know,
would be
right?
like, whoa, total subscription to whoever posts this particular motion comic.
I'm not doing it. I got enough subscribers now, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Ugh.
Okay. I can't believe this whole ship conversation came up again.
By the way, the actual subject, and I'm sorry for derailing the podcast, but the actual subject of what Anthony C was talking to me was that he was telling me that I couldn't post his videos on Equestrian Daily because because I'm writing it, it would therefore make him uncool or something, or he was implying that he was uncool because he was my friend and I was writing for Equestrian Daily. This made him too uncool to be posted there, and his logic was Top Gun.
Damn it! He's right. But what does this mean? Are we now not friends anymore because you posted me, or am I uncool now?
Right, that's what he was getting at. And I have never seen Top Gun, so I was just confused as fuck. But apparently it has to do with Top Gun's cool wall, and I'm guessing, Max, you know some of this logic?
No,
I haven't
I
seen
don't.
Top Gun
I-
either.
You
so
don't?
I'm confused too.
I haven't seen Top Gun
It
either,
just
so-
sounds logical.
Oh,
Okay,
well, I guess
either
it's
we
a
have-
European thing or something,
I don't know.
or
He's
a non-American
Australian.
thing. I know, but it's a European show.
Okay.
Wait, are we talking about Top,
Top
Gun,
Gun?
movie or?
Top Gun?
Top Gun is a movie with
Top
Tom
Gun.
Cruise.
Top Gun is
Wait.
an American movie.
Yeah.
Are you
it's
thinking
a
I
of
don't
very
like?
mean Top Gun. I mean Top
This-
Gear. That's what I meant.
Oh,
Oh,
The
Never
British
mind.
television
Top
show.
Gun. Top Gun's just motorcycles and guys with their shirts off playing volleyball.
No. I meant Top Gear, the one with the
Oh,
cars.
okay.
The
Top Gun.
That's- I think it's
that's a very different thing.
well, they both
It
have
is.
top and a G word in them. Okay, Jesus
It's two very
Christ.
different things.
I've never
Oh,
seen
God.
either one, so it's
This
not
is why we watch cartoons about horses. We don't know anything about the real world.
We don't know
exactly
anything else.
fucking
I
in another
recommend the
world.
show.
The real
The
world
show's
is
hilarious.
far too lame.
You realize how
Wait.
fried my brain is right now?
So, okay, the thing is the following. DG, we either have to break up our friendship, or you have to stop posting me. Because I am trying all day to catch up with the goddamn comments. And I haven't even got to EQD. I still haven't made this goddamn account for replying to comments. It's terrible.
Oh my.
Yeah.
The complicated life of celebrities, huh?
And why do you love your comments? Do you love them?
Yeah,
Love
comments
them.
are awesome.
Then you
Okay,
have to learn.
very
You have to learn to let them go. If you love your
No,
comments,
I
you
can't.
have to learn to
I
let
have,
them go.
I have
Did
to
you read any
every-
comments on yours, Brony Curious, on the Showstoppers?
I only read when the kid who was just like that I posted on Twitter was just like, this is way too intelligent for a late night post. We should replace this with a GIF or something.
Yeah, that
And I was just like slash the.
That was like the first comment.
I was just like, what else could need to be said at this point? It was just like the perfect. No one should have commented after that. That should have been it.
Oh man.
Because not only was it my video, but then you commented on the video and like kept the dialogue going, and it was just like 1 a.m. And at 1 a.m, Seth usually just like, hey guys, Trixie, and then bombs out, and that's it.
Well,
For you, it was 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
For me, I had just woken up, and I had intended already that, because, with the older, you're posting on an older episode, and I'm not really sure how, like, if I should really put that in the daytime. I was like, maybe older episode stuff, like, maybe we could have some kind of late night reminiscence in something, or I can make that a thing. And it went decently enough. Yeah.
You posted it as nostalgia, didn't you?
Right, nostalgia, late night
Yeah.
nostalgia.
Yeah. But the thing about comments is I really do love them, and I still haven't deactivated getting a mail for each comment on each video.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm dead.
because I started getting overage fees for my phone because my Gmail was downloading too much data on my phone.
Right.
I started going over.
I think I told you already, Max, actually, that I didn't turn off my comments,
You
emails.
neither.
It's just not my email address. There is a Digibrony MLP email address, and I don't use it. So there, like, every time I log into that email, which is like once in a blue moon, there's like 10 million fucking emails in there. Like literally 10 million.
My email address is leading directly to the fat client on my computer, so I get a mail for each and every comment
Have fun with
instantly. I do have, but today I'm struggling all day to get my inbox below 200, and I can't do it.
You can do it. Believe in
totally
yourself.
do it, AMY. You can make it happen.
You just
Well, now
gotta
I've got
believe.
people. I've now got
Somebody
people
asked me
sending
to
me
join
stuff.
this podcast. And before the podcast, Anthony C was chatting with me, and I wasn't able to do this as well. And then a friend
Did
called.
we have the same day? This is exactly what happened to me. I woke up and I literally was about to make a post for EQD for featuring this guy's video where it's like top 5 most powerful characters in MLP. And I'm going to feature this. And then like Anthony C calls me and I talk to him for an hour and a half. And then I get cut off by my dad being like, let's go see Iron Man. And I come home and there's like literally 20 Skype messages telling me that I'm missing some kind of podcast. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing happening.
Ah,
Good times. Alright guys, we're actually coming up on the 2-hour mark, so how about we go back to our original topic?
what?
If
Bill
you
Nye the
guys
Science
probably
Guy?
don't-
Bill,
I downloaded all of Bill Nye the Science Guy today, so I watched a little bit on the stream earlier, and it was...
I wish
Okay,
I was there.
have any of you... I hate to derail it again, but this needs to be said, because I promised the stream I'd talk about Bill Nye the Science Guy on the show. Have any of you watched Bill Nye the Science Guy recently?
No,
No.
I wish
No.
I
It
did.
is... You
Oh.
watch it. It is like a YouTube poop before YouTube.
Right.
It's incredible. It was like they saw into the future,
Uh-huh.
saw YouTube, and then made a show.
I think
About
that's basically
science,
how Ego Raptor described it. He was talking about it in Game Grumps recently.
Dude,
And-
it's so
Bill
good.
what is Bill the Science Guy?
Bill
Nye
Nye the
the
Science
Bill Nye
Guy.
the Science Guy.
You're talking to a German. Why would he know Bill Nye the
Yeah.
Science Guy?
Because it's Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Because they show him everywhere around the world.
And why? We're having a private stream later. I'm going to show you Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Oh my god.
He was
Okay.
Sure, go ahead. It's not like...
I mean,
it's-
Max will... keep calling you
Close
by
to
name, but
2
it's on the screen. I think he'll enjoy it a
Conrad.
lot.
Conrad,
he
don't
was
call me-
like,
Conrad,
It's
stop
so
Tommy
good.
from calling me Max.
I think of him like our generation's Carl Sagan, but sillier.
Really, it's true. Like, and like they add sound effects to everything in that show. Like, there's this one
Yeah.
shot. He's like talking about amphibians because the episode's on amphibians. And he just looks to the left, and like it's like a close up. And just looks to the left, like making a squeak noise. And then like every time he picks up a frog, the frog's like, "Hey, what's up?" And it was like, "What the." I'm like on drugs. It's beautiful. This is the best show ever. So I decided that
Classic.
me and the chat started the Bill Nye the Science Guy fandom. We're called the Science Guys, and we're starting a fandom, and you're welcome to join because
This is relevant. He is an analyst, just a science
is?
analyst.
Oh,
It's-
geez, sign
dude,
me up for
it's
fandom.
the best.
Yeah, but he has nothing to do with
I'm just
ponies.
the reverse engineer Bill Nye the Science Guy, and that's how I'm gonna make my videos going forward.
He's like the sequelitis of science.
really, it's like amazing.
When you watched Bill Nye the Science Guy in your science class, you knew it was a good day.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, my science teacher in the 2nd grade was his brother's wife.
Hmm.
She was actually Miss Nye, and she showed his videos all the time. Like, she knew him because it was literally her stepbrother. I mean, not
Listen,
stepbrother,
it's-
brother-in-law.
If you watch Big Think on YouTube, Bill Nye's on there all the time, and he's like real dude there, and he's just like, yo, like,
Yeah. He's got a beard now and shit. He's all old.
I met him once.
Wait,
He
wait,
comes up to
he is-
Cornell a lot.
What did you
What?
say he is?
What?
Oh.
Said he's old.
he's a
You
science guy.
Said he is...
Wake up, you old person! Oh!
I can't get enough of this.
Oh, God.
I'm even using the snooze function in the morning just to get woken up once more by Theory Bronies' sexy voice.
All right, Misfortune, if you want to lead us back onto a topic,
That's a great idea.
we're handing the reins over.
It had to be said. All right.
Okay, it has been said, and therefore
Alright,
it is
so-
known.
About those fucking My Little Pony. Fucking
Yeah, let's
things.
talk about those fucking ponies, okay?
Those damn ponies!
Alright, I think we're wrapping up this whole thing up, and I wanted to dive into the topic of multiple bits of media, because you guys also do thorough analysis on fanfics, and some of you do animations.
Sort of, yeah.
None of us do animations.
Then what was Double Rainbow and...
Oh, you mean analysis of other people's animations.
Yeah, that.
Right.
That's what I mean. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, it's just an extension of what's already happening. It's just, like I said before, I analyze everything. So, watching it, I was already doing it. And then people, I know this is true for me and Brony Curious, people were, like, asking us to do Double Rainbow and Snowdrop. Like, we were getting, like, constantly asked to do them. So with Double Rainbow, I just told Tom, I was like, let's just team up and do it. And it was funny because with Snowdrop, originally neither of us wanted to, and then his fans begged him to do it, and he was going to cave, but he really didn't have much to say about it, or he was like not really interested in talking about it. And I made fun of him for caving into demand because I was like, everyone told me to do Snowdrop, and I'm not doing it. But then, like, so many people kept asking me, and then I watched Snowdrop again, and I liked it the second time, and so I wrote an analysis of it anyway. And then Brody Curious was like, dude, what the hell? And then he watched it, and he was like, I don't even have anything to add to this. I can't make a video now.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Because, like, I was writing my initial script, and I was like... everything I was saying, I just felt like a dick for saying, because I was like picking like small things apart like I would in like an episode. And I'm just like, this isn't an episode. Like I don't know, because I make stuff. Like if someone wanted to say those things about my work, I would like want them to just like contact me and not be like, all right, so Brony Curious made a comic book and it fucking sucks. All right, it's fucking like look at that perspective. It's shit. And there's like a period there. It's supposed to be a comma. This is the worst piece of crap ever. I hate it. And I kill yourself. Like I wasn't gonna be that mean, but like I was saying things about like characterization stuff, obviously, and some things that I didn't agree with. I was like, I just don't feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's not me.
I mean,
like, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this because people want me to.
But you know, because it's interesting the perspective, because a lot of people have said like it's weird to criticize fan works as if you're criticizing the real work. But the funny thing is that there's lots of non-fan works that are much smaller, both in like scope of production and in scope of like the reception, than something like Snowdrop, right? Where like there's like legit comics or stories or movies out there that probably have less people who watched them and less people who worked on them or less time worked on them than Snowdrop did. And we would analyze those because we don't see them as fan works, we just see them as some movie, you know? It's just because Snowdrop is directly related to some series that it kind of makes this sort of weird perception where we're like, okay, this is something that that's like, it's a fan thing, so it's less touchable, but it's like at the same time, it is art. Someone did make it. It is a passionate thing, and there's really no rules about what you can or can't analyze, you know?
Oh, definitely.
So,
it's more like my personal thing. You know?
Right, but I totally get it, because for me, a big thing with me is that I really don't write negative reviews. As you may have noticed, I mostly talk about stuff I like. Or if I talk about something I don't like, it's like usually a video game where I spent a lot of time on it and just like had to vent. Like, wrote about like BioShock Infinite just because I was like so angry after playing it that I had to like say something.
Hey, glad somebody's in the same camp.
Right, I did not like that game at all.
Neither did I.
But you know, just personally, to me, the point of writing an analysis is to have something interesting to say, whether it's positive or negative. I just usually have interesting stuff to say about something I liked, because if I didn't like it, I probably didn't pay attention or just, you know, gave up. So with Snowdrop, the first time I watched it, I didn't care. I started skipping through the episode to see what it was going to be about, and then I just was like, I don't want to watch this, you know. So I didn't even finish it the first time. And it was only when I went back later and watched it again, and I found something interesting to say about it that I went, oh, maybe I will analyze this, you know, because there is something to say. So I wouldn't have just written about it if it was, you know, whether it was positive or negative. If I didn't have something interesting to say, it wouldn't have been interesting to write about, you know. So yeah, it's just that I guess with negative stuff, I usually drop it. I'm not the kind of guy who like feels the need to finish something just because I started it. So I usually don't finish something I don't like and end up mostly writing positive analysis and positive reviews.
Unless it's Ghostbusters.
Right, and the only reason I cover Ghostbusters is because it's part of MLP, you know, and obviously I want to cover all of MLP, and also because the reasons I didn't like it were kind of interesting, you know. It was something so personal, and the fact that so many people don't feel the same way makes it more interesting to talk about, you know. So it was negative, but I wasn't being aggressive, you know. That's the number one thing for me is I really hate aggressive reviews where they're trying to be like, this is shit and you should feel bad for liking it, you know, like I hate that. So, you know, I came at it from an angle of I appreciate why other people like Ghostbusters. I get what the appeal is of this episode, but here's like 9 million reasons I thought it was fucking awful, you know. So, yeah.
Well, and some people use the anger for something, turn that into comedy, which is something we did discuss before you kind of...
Anger video game nerd.
Yeah,
right.
Nostalgia critic and...
Right, and those people usually don't blast you for liking it if you do like it, you know? That's something that I consider important. It's just, I hate when... Anytime somebody makes it sound like you're an idiot if you like something, it's like, dude, come on. Like, what are you talking about, you know?
Yeah.
It's basically putting their own taste on a pedestal and saying that, you know, anyone who's intelligent would be like me and like the things I like, you know.
Yeah, and it's again subjective versus objective reasoning, you know.
I think this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. Why thorough analysis videos have gotten so friggin' popular is I think they're just there to see your different opinions on things, and
Right.
and just to come up with some pretty good bullet points. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
Right. I think a lot of why it's gotten popular is just that I don't think a lot of people realize that it was something that could be done and that other people would be interested in. Because I've gotten more so than, I mean, because there's plenty of people who are already putting out videos and like, oh, I was inspired by you. But then there's also a ton of people who have told me that they're inspired and want to make videos but have not done so yet. But it's interesting to me because I wouldn't really consider making videos to necessarily be the ideal way of doing this. Like, you could easily just write your opinions down and it would be fine and you wouldn't have to worry about making a video and making that impressive or something. But I think most people want their opinion to be heard by others. You know, obviously I started making videos because I want to have an audience, because I want to do analysis for a living. So it was important that I have an audience, you know, because otherwise I can't make any money off of it.
You're making money off this?
Yeah,
When did this happen?
the whole time.
Tell me your secret.
way.
I must know.
But that's why it's important for me to have an audience, is because I want to make money from doing it. Whereas if I didn't care about that, I would just be writing on my blog like I was already. Because I was writing these analyses on my blog. It just didn't, no one was reading it. You know, I was just writing basically to one friend, and we would share these huge epic comment threads about the show. And, you know, I was pretty fine with that, but I want to make a career out of it. I want to put myself out there, and, you know, and it's interesting that it was so well received and that people respond to it so much and make, you know, their own and stuff like that. So it is interesting to me to see that so many people are going straight for the video making thing, possibly because the other people who are visibly doing it are making videos. And I'm wondering if those people have considered if doing videos is necessary, or if getting attention is necessary, or if they could just be satisfied writing their opinions and possibly not making them into videos. But I don't know. So yeah, it's interesting to me to look at this the way this culture is emerging, and I wonder how much of it is sheer expression and how much of it is desire for other people to look at your theories and stuff like that. Anyone want to add to this? I'm kind of just rambling now.
No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people are getting into it, A, because they have something to say, but also because they want that conversation. They want the audience. They want
The water cooler
to talk
moments.
about it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's kind of, I mean, a similar thing is like I do my comic book, and I'm making it a motion comic because I want more people to see it. Like, that's part of the
Exactly.
reason I made it. And it's because I'm making a comic book, and that's like my language. It's how I like
Right.
creatively. That's how I work. But it's not. It's the best for relaying the message, but it's not the most accessible. And accessibility is really important because you know, when you have so much content on the internet to choose from, like, you have to be accessible. Otherwise, people are just going to go look somewhere else unless they have to try. You know, so many people just don't even want to read, which is really
Right.
unfortunate. So
Yeah, I can totally attest to that. That's why us fanfic writers are suffering so much.
it's
No.
terrible because like I read so many good fanfics. Like Raugos, like I've sung Raugos' praises forever, and he's like God. And like Steel Resolve, his writing is like God tier. And then they have like 600, 300, 400 people reading. It's just like, you need like at least flat like 2 more zeros on those numbers. Like, what's going on? Like
But
I can't
again,
even.
you know, it's really a matter of each individual has to decide how much, you know, the audience actually means to them. A lot of fanfic writers don't care, you know.
Exactly.
I do.
Or people like Anthony C. is the perfect case in point of a person who he is not interested really in being popular with his videos. He's doing it just because he wants to, and he really doesn't. He's had no concern for like getting his name out there, or you know, or having some kind of fame or anything. He's just like, I enjoy making videos about my opinions. I like them to be entertaining. I'm inspired by, you know, other people doing it, but he's not pursuing it as any kind of career at all, or any kind of like, oh, I gotta get my name out there. The guy came to me today to ask me not to post his videos on Equestrian Daily, you know, and I'm sitting here going, what? What is this twisted logic you have
Yeah,
here?
he's a weird guy. But
But he was really inspired when he was talking to me earlier because we were talking about literally this, where I was saying how, for me, I would be satisfied just writing my opinion if I could live that way. Like if it was possible for me to if let's say money did not exist and I had no worries about it whatsoever and we were just in a communist society or something like that, where let's say no one needs jobs. What would you be doing?
I'll give you 3 goats for a sheep.
Right. It's just it's like a question of where, because everyone's really, their dream is to do something where they don't have to work a shitty job and they want to do what they're passionate about. So if you were to ask me, what would you be doing if you didn't have to work a shitty job? My answer would be, I'd be analyzing stuff. Doesn't matter who sees it, I'd just be analyzing stuff.
Exactly, yep.
And so my dream is to do exactly that. I want to not work and I want to analyze stuff, So I said, how can I make that a reality? By making money off of analyzing stuff. So, yeah. So I'm doing what I want to do. But you can analyze stuff and not that maybe you don't want that. Like maybe you do want to have a job and like support a family and stuff and you have other goals where analysis is just something you do on the side, or something you do for fun. And I think everyone should really evaluate that about their own work. How big do you actually want this to get? What is the importance of it being big? Is it just that you want more people to see it? Is it that you want to make money off of it? Is it that you want to have a name for yourself? Or is it a confidence thing? Do you just feel like, I feel like with Brony Curious, he just has this need to spread his stuff around as much as possible. And I really understand that as a former person who wanted to be an author, where you can write fiction for yourself and just lock it away in a drawer, like the dude, what's his name, the guy, J.D. Salinger, who died on a pile of 90 novels that he never released, But a lot of people they have this burning desire somewhere deep in their core where they have to get this shit out there, So, if that's how it is, then go for it, But I do think that what every artist needs to do is sit down and figure out why they're doing what they're doing, and base how they do it around that. If you're doing it for yourself, do it for yourself. Don't worry about, trying to appeal to everyone else. But if you want everyone else to see it, then you do have to worry about that,
So true. Preach it.
Hey, Mike, do you have anything to add? You've been really quiet and it's kind of eerie.
He's mostly been involved in the
I
channel.
like to imagine he's just crying.
Sorry?
He's producing liquid pride at your words.
No. I mean, Digi is talking so much about settling down, having a job, raising a family that I have to take care of my future wife first. So.
All right. Well, guys, we pretty much just hit the 2-hour mark. I think we definitely want to start wrapping this up. So let's finish up with a few more bullet points, even though we're having so much fun right now. I have to be the guy that kills all the fun, okay? I just have to be.
You.
Yeah, I know, I suck. Anyway.
Coitus misfortunus interruptus.
Alright, so I guess we got some tidbits in there about animation, unless AY wants to throw anything in.
Yeah, it's, at least for MLP, it's most of the time a really well done job, especially if you consider that.
I actually meant
He means fan animations, like writing about fan works, like you've done with fan fictions.
Oh, okay.
Things like that.
Max didn't write about any of the fan animations, but he does write about fanfics.
Because I thought I'd bring it up since Digibrony and Curious. Didn't you do that kind of stuff too?
Well,
Yeah, I have a whole series that kind of talks about my favorite fan works and stuff.
Fanwork Fridays!
Yeah!
Only on Brony Curious!
Alliteration is cool!
Yeah. Same way, you have anything on that?
yeah, on animation we kind of talked about the two big ones in the Crepuscular Bronies, but I believe the other guys already said most of what is to be said about it. So yeah, we kind of went down the
you have no German
analyzing.
wisdom you wish to add?
Well, probably not. They are both very well done in their own way, but they both also have their flaws. Yeah, it's. I think what is quite impressive is how well a lot of people are capable of imitating the actual animations on show quality, even so that you have to consider that they are not doing this for a living, they are doing this in their spare time, and most of them probably got these skills taught these skills to themselves. So when even those very short clips, like for example, who is this
Epic website.
Galaxy Arts usually does very short clips, and I believe he was also involved in Double Rainbow. But he also does these very short clips on his channel, and when I see them, it's just like, sure, they are very short and stuff, but they look so accurate. They could be show, and I'm usually pretty impressed about fan animation. So this is what people do there at the moment is just wow. Yeah, and about other fan works, I have been digging MLP drawings on DeviantArts a long time before. Pretty much when I started becoming a Brony, this was a great thing. I was completely oblivious to the whole MLP thing until I got pointed in this direction around the beginning of season 2. I haven't seen anything, no YouTube clips, no drawings, anything. I was completely oblivious. I have no idea how I managed this. But then I started recognizing this stuff, and even so I haven't turned active Bronies at this point for quite a while. I was already picking up drawings on DeviantArts, and I had an old DeviantArts account, and I started following a lot of people who draw great stuff, and even so I still was more or less a closet Brony at this point. I already started picking up on, I guess, Inuyasha to Dark Pen I already stumbled over. It's the very beginning. She just has this awesome fluffy looking ponies. Even so, Brony Curious raised the fluffiness factor as well, so good for you, buddy. Good for you. Yeah,
The ponies are best pony.
yeah. I mean, the ponies actually have fur. Because of these very smooth outlines they usually have, we kind of and the colors and the unrealisticness they have, we tend to forget that they are actually furry creatures. But having this furriness pointed out more in her drawings, this gives this something like, yeah, it has something. And well, this was what when Curious was like, experimenting with fluffiness, I was like, dude, do it, looking great. So yeah, and fan fiction I came into during the last summer. Yeah, I believe thanks to this was actually where I started the whole active Brony thingy, because I stumbled across. It started really with DeviantArts. On DeviantArts, I came across a short comic series, which was the starting point for a Tumblr, which I started following. And in this Tumblr, there were two OCs from different stories integrated. One from called Midnight, from a the fiction called Out in the Cold, the one I'm promising since I started the channel to make my first romantic reading about, and so I will do my first romantic reading about it, even though nobody cares, but I have to have this insane thingy in my head that I have to stick to it because I promised. And the other one was Nyx from Past Sins, and then Past Sins got my attention, and I just for fun Googled it, searched for it on YouTube, and I found this dramatic reading of Past Sins. And it's by Vude Svenjos, and it stopped halfway through, and I was like, no, because the reader Vude Svenjos went more or less on a hiatus, and yes, it was Ask Twixie, dear chat. And I was like, it would be so awesome to continue his work, because he was just taking a really long hiatus. By now it's revealed that he got a girlfriend which was living far away, and he had no time to continue doing his thing because work, seeing his girlfriend, was pretty much taking away all his day. And back then I had the idea like, I will do dramatic readings. And then one day when I have had a little bit practice, I will continue his work if he doesn't. Well, by now somebody else already finished the whole story, and Voodoo Venus is about to return, so goddammit, so much for this one. As I mentioned, I haven't done a single episode of dramatic reading yet. But I started practicing and I suck.
Your sexy German accent.
Yeah, the thing is, I started doing the readings, and I read this first chapter so many times. The problem is, I start really strong with talking with a strong and dynamic voice, but when I continue reading, my voice becomes more softened and I become more quiet, and then I just read like this. But then there is a part where Applejack is talking and I'm out again, and then when I stop recording, I stop the recording, I stop looking at the script and look at my recording program again, and I see the amplitudes for the audio wave, and I see how they decrease over time, and I'm like, oh great, I lost dynamic again, I can do it again. And yeah, I got a few advices by a certain pink pony, which is in this very stream right now, thanks Digi. But I never came around to even try this advices because I have been so busy the last few weeks, months. I haven't come around to continue my tryout for dramatic reading yet. But yeah, I am also into fanfiction pretty much, and yeah, from past sins I discovered more and more, and even so people start thinking of me like the fanfiction guy. I only read about 4 or 5, and actually I listen a lot to audiobooks, so...
So comparatively, Brony Curious is the fanfiction guy.
I guess
Yes,
I'm the
he
fanfic guy. Damn.
or Misfortune is probably, but people think I am because I am having this series about fanfiction and talk about it all the time.
I would totally do dramatic readings if I wasn't too busy making fanfiction.
Right.
Curious. You should totally
I
do
would
it with
totally-
Brony. It would be
I would
amazing.
totally do dramatic readings if it wasn't so much fucking work to edit.
The other side of theory analysis video making, that god darn editing.
Dude, it sucks.
I've
That's
Yeah,
the worst
editing is
part.
the worst. Well, fuck you, Brony Curious. You have fucking goddamn Formula Dash to do your shit for you, so...
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
He edits like 1 out of every 4 of my videos, okay? And
Whatever,
if his
dog.
name isn't there, he didn't edit it.
I thought
Okay?
you said something about him, doing the impressions or something, the latest
No,
one.
I do all of impressions.
You mentioned it in the comments or something to someone who thought you were making a reference, and you said the music someone thought you made a Game of Thrones reference, and you said the music is all Formula Dash.
Yeah, because that was from... They were referencing... The comment
different
originally
video.
was that referencing a child character from Game of Thrones.
Right.
It's like, you've seen Game of Thrones because the last video, the Equestrian History video, all the
okay.
music was from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that
which
was
I didn't
confusing.
know.
So I was like, I didn't think Formula Dash edited these, so I was really confused.
So I immediately, once I found out that music was from Game of Thrones, I immediately unmonetized that video because it's like, I'm going to get boned if I leave that up there. So
Right.
I was like, damn it. So I have to tell him, like, next time, it's like, dude, you got to use royalty-free music.
Yeah.
'Cause I need to make the money. I try to.
All the money.
I didn't even know you had monetized any videos yet.
The only 2 I did was that one and the last impressions. I just started. It's just like, I'm kind of
You've been
broke.
debating with yourself about it or
I
something.
have. I feel very ethically conflicted about monetizing
Dubious.
the videos because I hate sitting through ads on YouTube, so I don't want to do it to other people. At the same time,
But you have an ad blocker.
I do have an ad blocker. That's why I have an ad blocker, because of YouTube. I wouldn't have had it if I didn't watch YouTube all the time.
Right.
So
The funny thing is that none of us fucking bronies support each other in that regard. We all have ad blockers.
yeah, we are kind of jerks like that.
Again, I would turn off my ad blocker on YouTube to support YouTube channels, but I can't because I have to click on my videos constantly to read my fucking comments because of YouTube's stupid system.
Yeah.
I know I
I
bitch
don't
about
have
this
an
all the
ad
time, but
blocker.
it still stands.
I still get all notification for each subscriber, for each comment, and I don't have an ad blocker.
Right, but ANY, if you click on because you want to reply to the comment, it's going to take you to your video, right? If you want to reply.
if
Like,
I
you can't
say,
reply
like-
through the email client.
Nope.
So if I want to reply to someone's comment, even if I had it send me an email and I wanted to reply to their comment, that's going to take me to my video. And if I don't have an ad blocker on, it's going to play the ad from my own video
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
So that's
The only
why I
thing-
don't have the ad blocker on.
Yeah, the thing you have to do is to very quickly click on the link for total of comments. Then you get to the only comment page, which
Yeah,
is
well,
also
that's like this
chronological
mad dash.
in a better order. So
I already, because I have a thing that I have YouTube options, and what it does is I have an option that it automatically pauses a video when I click on it. So I actually, instead of videos don't autoplay for me, they automatically pause. So I don't have to keep clicking, because I used to have to, every time I wanted to reply to a comment, I had to hit pause on my video, then scroll down. So now it pauses for me, so it just makes everything much easier. I don't have to worry about clicking on anything within the 2 seconds, before some shit starts.
I just let it play. I'm just like, whatever. My voice isn't that horrible.
Yeah, but I've always got like music playing and stuff, or something going on.
I guess.
So, fillers. We have a topic. We keep going off topic. It's fantastic.
That's what happens when you bring us into a chat.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I think you kind of nearly matched the record of our longest episode with the author support groups. We had Wanderer D and all them in our group, or in our show thingamajig.
Yeah, and I would have had a lot more to say on that one.
I wish you did, Banza.
I mean,
Unfortunately, we have to start tying this up. So, because I'm pretty sure people have lives that they
I
have
don't.
to tend to.
By the way, I'm really enjoying that I went onto YouTube and ANY Pony it says like being on a podcast today with Digibrony ? And really curious.
I had to add the question mark since it wasn't sure for a long time if you even will appear.
Yeah, because for a good while there, we thought you weren't going to actually show up.
Right. I totally 100% forgot this was happening today.
Even though we pretty much all told you.
Right.
You're a forgetful person.
I always tell people, if you don't remind me, like, on the day of, the day before and the day of, I'm not going to remember.
But we did!
I was gone. Look, I'm really unreliable, okay? Like, this is far from the first podcast that I've missed. I missed one that was live. Like, these guys do a radio show, like, on, what was it? It was on one of the Brony radio shows, and they were, like, set a time, like, weeks in advance. They had warned me about it. They were like, we're going to do this show at 8 o'clock on this day. And I even said it on Twitter that I was going to be on this show. And then I fell asleep like an hour beforehand and completely missed it. So that was a live show I was supposed to be on that I missed.
What reminds me...
And I've missed Crepuscular Bronies before when I've said I was going to be on there.
Which reminds me, Digi, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to remind you.
Yeah, I should probably try to catch a nap before that, because I don't want to be like last time where I've been up for like 9 years.
Hopefully not sleeping through it.
Right.
Yeah. Alright. So, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up.
That's like the 5th time you've said that.
Yeah, but let's actually do this, okay? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, man.
Do it, guys.
We're gonna do
Just
it.
one last, very short, uncontroversial question before we really wrap things up.
Uncontroversial.
Nah, I'm not doing this to you.
Alright, did you guys have any really short notes on fanfics and something analysis nonsense I forgot all about that you guys want to mention? Super brief.
I mean, my experience in analysis, at least publicly, pretty much begins and ends with analyzing fics for the benefit of the author.
Right.
Okay. So, ANY, Digi, curious, you guys do fanfics, right? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah.
Like, well, what, you mean review fanfics or just...
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't reviewed any well, I did Vinyl and Octavia University Days. I did a video on that because it's my favorite, and it's amazing. And, huh?
And everybody should read it?
Yeah, everybody should read that.
Yeah, everybody should read it.
No, I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting for DJ's dramatic reading. He, I believe, promised.
Well, the thing is, Theory Brony said he's gonna do one. He brought this up in one of my live streams like 2 months ago.
We're going off topic again.
Right.
Silly boy.
But I told Theory I would do the narration in his if he ever fucking does one.
But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
do you guys have any super quick comments about throw analyzing in fanfics that you choose?
What I, for example, do is, because it's still the thing is that it is made by other fans and that I don't want to be as critical as I am about the commercial original show, I kind of work with under the surface with a kind of red flag system. Like, I usually only review stories anyway I like. Even
Exactly.
So,
That's what I meant earlier. You know, when I was talking about doing like Snowdrop and Double Rainbow because it's like you don't want to do it if you're just going to be negative about it because it's not really beneficial to anyone. It's more exciting to be like, here's a fanfic that's really awesome. I'll go read that. You know.
Yeah, for example, I probably will do at some point because I read it. For example, I will talk about My Little Dashie. I will talk about what was the other one? Shipping and handling. Both ones are it's your fault that I read shipping and handling.
Dude, have you been reading the sequel? There's a sequel out now, Hocus Pocus.
No, I haven't. What's the work on
You're
it?
derailing too now.
Everyone's derailing.
And why?
Do
You
I
and
have to get my
Scott
last
start
one?
talking about
Stop
fanfics.
leaving the floor open. Just close it already.
Do I have to
Be like,
stop
shut the
lessons?
fuck up, people who talk too much, we're done.
Bye. I'm talking.
Do I have to stop
Anyway,
getting my whip
what I
out?
wanted to say. Yeah, even so, I wasn't too. I enjoyed the story, but it really wasn't one of my favorite. And well, My Little Dashie is just it's just emotional. It's not a good story. It's just written to be emotional, and so my reviews will probably turn out like the way, hey, if you enjoy this and this and this, you might like the story. If this certain aspects do not sit too well with you, maybe give it a pass. So I'm usually trying to give the people an overview what they can expect, positive as well as negative. Like, hey, I discovered this thing might be, even so, Life and Times of a Winning Pony, the one I actually already did, I am like, hey, if you don't like dragging on long back and forth dialogues, this might be a tricky problem for you. And sometimes there are some melodramatic dialogues which really go back and forth without end, but this is something people could be annoyed by, and actually I just got today a comment on my review like, oh, I read it halfway through, but then the back and forth was too terrible to stand and I quit. I'm trying to give people an impression what to suspect, good and negative, so because when you start reading a fanfic, I believe this point had already been raised in discussions before, when you start watching a show on television, you can instantly see if you like the visuals, you can instantly get a feeling for how good it is and what you can expect. With a fiction, you can't do this. With a fiction, it's harder to grasp what you have when you start reading it, and you can happen to get through a whole. You can happen to have to read a whole first chapter before you can really have an impression of it, because it's just black letters on white paper to begin with. And so I'm trying to give a system like that's what you can expect, so people can get a feeling if they might like it, and if it is for them personally worth to even start it.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Curious, do you have any super quick things you'd like to say regarding
Like,
fanfics?
comment, and subscribe.
All right!
Right.
Woo! Shameless advertising. Woohoo! Totally shameless advertising.
Oh god.
I will do those things that you said I should do, and I will do them.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, sorry, I had to add one more thing. Everybody go over to YouTube, type in DAT space HATTER, dot hatter, this is Quill's channel. Everybody has to subscribe to her show. She is forced to make a lot more great content for us.
Yes.
I hate you.
Dot Hatter.
I hate you.
I love how we had a whole subplot going this entire conversation about marrying
Yeah.
Quillbit off to ANY.
Sorry for any of those who won't be able to see the chat later, because a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yep. What
Poor
happened?
YouTube viewers.
We are already engaged. Scan 120 and I are in some kind of epic battle over you. What else?
This is what happens when there's few girls in a fandom.
Mhm.
You get shipped with everybody.
Yep.
As
You
I
can't wait
mentioned,
for the art.
I am just shipping you with me. I'm not shipping you with anybody else. So
And the kitchen sink.
this wasn't me. Urishima brought in the kitchen sink. This wasn't me. The kitchen sink is a horrible person. Don't listen to him. Whatever.
All right, so let's do the last big thingy of the night. At the end of every episode, I like to ask some silly, random, little fun questions to our panelists, and the three I have for you guys today.
You complain that we don't get to an end.
I am getting to an end now. I'm making it happen.
Calm down, boys.
All right. So, the three random questions I have for everybody in the room. Let's see. Favorite Wonderbolt or Wonderbolt trainee? Hey, Maya, why don't you start?
Hey, yeah!
Who's your favorite Wonderbolt?
I was
or
gonna
Wonderbolt
say the
trainee?
same thing.
Oh yeah!
Darius, Quillbit, Baraka, who's your favorite Wonderbolt or Wonderbolt trainee?
Someone, I need time to think about this. Someone go before me.
I suppose pre-season 3 Spitfire?
Fair enough.
I guess my favorite Wonderbolt is actually kind of weird. I like Fleetfoot just because I read an awesome fic with her in it, and she was like blind, but she was still like one of the best flyers on the team, so it was pretty cool. So I'll say Fleetfoot.
Quillbit, now you must answer.
You know what's really funny? Okay, small story.
Gosh.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, like I have been talking this whole time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay, so everyone knows the little blind bag ponies that you can get, like the little surprise bags. You get a pony in it. And,
Mhm.
Oh
Well,
yes, I know them. They are so ugly. But continue.
I am talking.
Listen to your wife, ANY.
No. Only fiancé by now.
Still,
Yeah,
listen to your
YouTube
fiance.
engaged.
She was the wife of the house and stuff. She gets to speak.
Okay, so one of the blind bag ponies, it's a Wonderbolt, but it's blonde and it's white. So all of my friends say, "Hey, look, it's Surprise," because Surprise is blonde, Pegasus white. So if our theory is that Surprise is a Wonderbolt, I will go with Surprise as my favorite Wonderbolt. But that's more of a theory. Theory aside, I say Soren.
Soren, woo! And it's pie.
Pie.
Hi.
Pie! Alright, next question. Oh god, this is going to spark some controversy here. Favorite headcanon or fan theory? For example, like Scootaloo being an orphan or things along those lines.
Everything Raugros has ever said about the changelings. Go read Integration. It's like the best. He just like develops the changeling culture so well, and like how they work like an actual hive of almost like insect-like, and they have their own like language called Vespid, where they communicate like crickets do, like based on like body language and noises and stuff. And just goes so friggin' deep into everything, and how they all operate like a hive mind, and Chrysalis can like control them at will, and like use like different like things like control how they think. And, it's great. Just go read Integration. Everything about the changing and that is beautiful. So bad.
Alright.
I've got one I've kind of been developing for a fic, like kind of a theory about like magic usage, that like every kind of pony can actually use magic. It just comes out in different ways. Like unicorns use magic that kind of comes from themselves and is projected outward, whereas like Pegasi use magic like to manipulate like ethereal things like weather, and earth ponies manipulate physical things around them. And alicorns just kind of have almost total control of a single aspect of reality.
Have you posted comments on some of my videos?
I have not. To be perfectly honest, I haven't really heard of you before this.
Aw.
Sorry.
You made him cry.
Yes, you did.
Evil,
Totally.
heartless person.
Look at all this man pride over here.
I'll post enough comments for him. I'll say him in his name.
Does the headcanon have to be original, or can I steal somebody else's?
It's just any headcanon, I guess.
Oh, okay. Then I'm taking the headcanon from the fanfiction I'm reading. It's actually listening to at the moment. I'm lazy. God, don't you judge me.
We will judge you.
You may judge me. Oh, no, okay. Don't go there. Sorry. Trying to creep.
I need an adult. I need an adult.
What do you need in the...
And why he's old, he is an adult.
I am probably the oldest person in the chat.
Oh, you want to
It's
see if we can
stream.
prove that? How old are you?
28?
Shit.
I
You beat.
was expecting older, actually.
What?
Ta-dum.
Okay, say your headcanon.
Yes, from the most recent fiction I am getting to know. Sound neutral explanation. The canon is called Upheaval, Breaking Point, or the second book is, what's the second book? I don't know. Upheaval is a overtitle and has a lot of subtitles, and it has a very nice series that actually Equestria. Have you ever wondered that this land is just too perfect, everything is fine, there's not really bad happening, even monsters are kind of tame? The thing is, it is all a spell by Celestia. She has surrounded a rather small part of Equestria as Equestria Prime, and has put a few selected, chosen families and stuff in there, and she keeps everything, this magical wonderland, with her magic, while on the outside all the other ponies who had not been chosen thousands of years ago to be part of this Equestria Prime have to fight a bloody war against all their outside enemies for eternity.
That's deep.
It sounds like more than a
Yes.
headcanon.
Yeah.
That's...
Basically, the starting point for this whole pretty goddamn epic fiction I'm listening to at the moment, and I will most definitively write a review about. It's written by Forest Rain, by the way. Not written, sorry, read by Forest Rain. He is also Brony. I believe he's the guy who made this Brony ballad. This I can't sing for crap. This what is this show with somebody who knows it? Did you know it? Sing it.
I don't know
Really?
I've heard it.
Yes, with a Rainbow Dash and just the title below it and the subtitles and just a still of Rainbow Dash. And, well, this song is from Forest Rain, by the way, I believe, and he is also a very good dramatic reader, I had to find out. I subbed to him for quite a while.
He's been doing
now.
dramatic readings for a really long time.
Yes, I know.
Forest Rain's awesome.
I thought he was only a musician because I subbed to him for his music ages ago, and I was like, he's doing this rock-like music, he's awesome. And then I was like, oh, okay, he's doing dramatic readings as well. Well, I could start this first one, and I was like, whoa, this story is epic, he's so good. And this is a problem. When I continue discovering new, really good dramatic readers, I'm like, I don't really want to go there because, accent, not really a good reader myself, and
That was an interesting headcanon.
That was. So, Quillbit, do you have a favorite fan theory or headcanon?
I do.
is it
Jay?
funny?
What is it?
Basically, I like the theory that Star Swirl the Bearded is actually Discord, or Discord is Star Swirl the Star. I like Discord. I like anything that pertains to Discord.
go. We'll take it any
I
moment.
know it's not very sound, but
Hey, but it's a headcanon, okay? It's still
headcanon,
valid.
so they're not made to be sound.
My darn.
People keep
Heard it before, still liking it.
Yeah, it's not very original, but
Brony? Do you have a favorite
Right.
fan theory or headcanon?
I believe his headcanon is that Discord is not Stansford the Bearded, isn't it?
Clearly not.
So is the question that I have a favorite headcanon?
I guess.
that what you're
yeah.
asking?
Yeah. Or fan theory.
I don't really, because like the kind of headcanons that I've made videos for and stuff is usually stuff that I just kind of came up with on the spur of the moment, or it was like simple and easy. I don't usually sit around like considering like how everything in Equestria came to be or anything like that, which is kind of funny because that's what most people bring up to me all the time, is that like I constantly get emails and like messages where people are telling me like their extensive headcanons of the world, and I feel like I should really send them all to Brony Curious because he's like way more invested in that than I am, with like his Celestia and Luna video that he did recently and stuff.
Did I get
But
the
that's
best
the-
video response to that today? It was so
That's
good.
the kind of stuff that I don't usually spend a lot of time thinking about. I remember me and my brother came up with some kind of Oh, yes. All right. So we had a headcanon that the way Equestria came to be involved, I believe it was Zeus having sex with a horse.
well, that's not too out of a league.
Right.
No.
It's something Zeus would do.
Yeah,
And we were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Zeus would have sex with a horse, and it would produce Princess Celestia, and he would give her her own like planet to reign, sort of thing, you know,
But
or
you know
just
what-
like drop her as a bastard child on some planet, you know. So basically,
Aw.
Celestia and Luna's parents would be Zeus and some horse from Earth, and that's why the horses can talk and everything, is because they're they're descended from a god, so they have that sort of magical.
Greece mythology, you do have to love it.
Right, and it makes sense why there would be so much Grecian architecture and everything in the show. It's because it's descended
Monsters.
from Grecian gods.
Or what was the one thing the fake Equestria Games person was talking about? Neo-Gothic architecture?
Right.
Interesting.
The
Well,
chicken lady.
there's also Grecian architecture in Cloudsdale.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't think Neo-Gothic would have anything to do with Greece. I'm also not sure if that place was really Neo-Gothic architecture, if they just threw that line out there. I do know my Gothic architecture, but I don't really know what constitutes Neo-Gothic. I know that for it to be Gothic, there has to be flying buttresses and arches. I think it has both of those, so I don't know. It doesn't really look like Gothic architecture, though, the castle.
Yeah, it's all sharp and pointy nonsense. Okay, final fun question. And I know. It is the last fun question. So,
This will be a 3-hour stream by
hey.
the end of it.
hey,
I like how everyone's so tired that you all just accepted my fucking headcanon about Zeus fucking horses.
Because it's
I
Zeus.
thought
He
it
has
was
crazy
great.
sexual appetite.
Yeah, like I
Hey,
can
love
see it.
That's not even something I would challenge. It's
Hey.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
Zeus put his dick in weird places. I
Who?
wouldn't-
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah. I mean,
Your audio cut out?
Whose?
What?
I didn't hear whatever Tommy started to say.
Oh.
No, all I was saying is that Zeus has put his dick in weird places before, so I don't even need to like challenge that. It's like totally true.
Yeah, it's plausible.
Okay, but I'm expecting a resounding no from this question. So, will Alicorn Twilight be best princess?
No.
Yes.
Difficult. Can't tell yet. You can't
Because-
tell it yet.
I mean, if you're going by best princess, it's just who's your favorite. Well, Twilight was already my favorite, like one of my favorite characters in the show.
But now that she's
So-
a princess,
She's like pretty much by default best princess because I didn't really care that much about the other princesses, you know.
The thing is the following. Twilight also has been my favorite character so far, but it is really up to see what they are going to do with her now, because you can't deny that there will probably be changes because of the status change and stuff. Because I know people are already panicking, like, "Whoa, she's so Mary Sue, and we don't know. We don't know.
I'm
We
so
have to
fucking
wait to
sick
see.
of that.
Yes,
I'm not gonna derail this again, but every time I hear the word Mary Sue, I just want to
Yes.
fucking fight somebody.
Yeah, she's
Like with fists, not in verbs. I just want to beat someone's ass. I just want to like put on Limp Bizkit and like thrash.
The thing is, we simply don't know yet. It maybe turn out that she is now new Little Miss Perfect and that Applejack goes second row, but it can also be that she is still the likable, adorable character we started to love.
The question is, why would that happen? Why would that happen? Why would she suddenly become a Mary Sue? I don't understand. I really don't get that.
No,
Because there's
People
no
using
more
the term, not
flaws.
understanding
part
what
of it. Yeah, I know. It's like a lot of people seem to think it's mostly just the power thing, from
No,
what I've
I-
heard, and
no,
that is not
no,
enough
No,
to
no,
me.
no, no, no. What I believe it is that there's no more flaws. Okay, there's nothing else to cover. We covered all the bases. She's completely
Well-
flawless now.
But why would it
Why?
remove her flaws?
Why would she not have flaws?
She's
Why
still
would giving her
aggressive.
wings make her flawless?
It's because
Doesn't
she's
make any
gone through all
fucking
these
sense. It doesn't
friendship
fix her
lessons and
personality
stuff.
disorders. You know, it doesn't change the fact that she's still overly paranoid, especially about Celestia. You know, she dealt with that in the first episodes of season 3. That was not resolved. That did not change. She's still extremely paranoid all the time. You know, even though she tried to get over that in Games Ponies Play, she was making good progress on learning how to calm herself. But that makes her even more interesting if she knows how to like, you know, work against those kind of things. You know.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm just
This is
gonna
the
throw my
thing.
hat in there.
We don't know.
People bitch and complain about a lack of character development, and then a character develops, and they bitch and complain that she's developing into, like, oh, she's becoming a better person. It's like, why would that be a fucking bad thing? I don't understand.
Yeah, she could become more boring to watch, but like Applejack, whoa!
Fuck
yeah,
you, man.
it really.
Digi! Language!
Oh, this is
Watch your
PG.
fucking mouth.
This is fucking PG,
little
man.
shit.
We can say whatever shit we want.
So much for it being PG.
Yep.
I mean, Applejack is nearly as terrible as Rarity.
Oh.
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 Do you want to
Well-
die?
Agreed.
Ah, I just wanted to have a Brony Curious explosion. Okay. Oh.
It's so funny because, like, my favorites at this point are Applejack and Rarity, and, like, Brony Curious's favorites are pretty much Applejack and Rarity, I assume, anyway. And Theory Brony's favorites are Applejack and Rarity. So it's like, I feel like there's just this total takeover of Applejack and Rarity in the review circuit.
Guys, before you don't turn Biter into Applejack and Rarity supporter, it still isn't complete.
Hmm.
It's okay.
And then you got us reviewers over at Finfic. You're talking about the thorough analysis. Well, sorry. Forget everything I just said.
Okay.
Forget everything.
And done.
Already did.
Done.
I never listened to you in the first place, so you're fine.
You guys make me feel so good.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
That's why we're all here. All right.
Of tolerance.
Okay. I think we've kind of come to a wind down. So unless Baraku Panza and Quillbit want to ask AY, Digibrony, or Curious any questions while they're available for public speaking.
Huh? I mean, no,
Yes,
not really.
I will.
Just gonna look
Will
forward
it?
to
Yes,
seeing
I will.
Digibrony at BronyCon.
Good enough. Quillbit.
Yeah, you'll see me and Brony Curious at
We'll
BronyCon.
be there.
We'll be there together.
We're totally
Oh,
not on a date.
Totally not gay.
we'll be there together.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to share a room, so
We're
yeah.
six.
You're making it worse.
Well, we were gonna be on a date, but now he dubbed me for Anthony, so.
Right.
Oh my. All right, Quillbit. I guess you got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right, good.
No.
I mean, I know what you want to ask Quillbit, and the answer is yes, I will.
Okay, you can come over and do my laundry. We'll talk about that.
Yes, a dream comes true. Wait, how many miles do you live away?
Many. You're gonna have to tell them a lot.
I'm in Germany, so it could take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but true love will make anything happen.
Yes, it will.
Lots of logic
I mean-
by the time you get there.
Mm.
Love is magic.
Friendship is
Friendship.
magic.
Friendship.
Magic is magic, exactly.
Magic is witchcraft. Right. So that sums up our episode, and I think I should probably announce that we broke the record for our longest episode yet.
Woo!
Coming in at 2 hours and 44 minutes.
If you want to beat the record again, just invite the three of us once more.
Will do.
This was really nice.
Oh, you have to. If you want to have the longest thing ever, you should have us again and just say characterization.
Okay.
All you gotta do is drop me in a live stream and it always lasts 9 hours. Like, that's just how it happens.
Say Destiny.
Destiny!
I really don't have anything to say about Destiny, so I think it's funny that always gets brought up.
Is this the game Destiny, by the way? 'Cause I'm
No, it's
We're talking
Destiny.
about Bronies' video on Destiny,
Yeah.
which I responded to and like
I
had
haven't
an
seen it then.
opinion on.
It's like one of his big videos.
Haven't
Yeah.
seen it
Right,
yet.
because like 900 people fucking made response videos to it and stuff. Mostly because it was not a great video, like mine, because I really did not clarify exactly what I meant in the video, and so I left it, like, it was really open because of the fact that I was so bad at declaring what Destiny actually means, and then, like, people ran with that in all directions.
Now we've got that out of the way.
No, dude, you did that on purpose. It was an experiment to find out what your viewers thought Destiny was. That's all. It was totally on purpose.
Right.
So,
There you go.
I do want to say one last thing before we close, and that's a shout-out to the Crepuscular Bronies Discuss, which is A and Y Pony's little talk show.
Hate that
What?
guy.
And I thought I'd do that and invite A and Y Pony to the show, just because he invited me to 2 episodes of his own, so...
Yay.
Now we're pseudo-even, A and Y Pony.
Ooh.
I've been on your
Right.
show, you've been on mine, so good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, folks, I think that will wrap up this delightful episode of our talk show and our glorious first episode of the new name, the Stableside Discussions, Disputes, and Debates. God, that was a fucking mouthful. So I hope you guys all had a good show, and those of you on YouTube, I hope you enjoyed it too. Be sure to tune in next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another exciting edition of Lots and Lots of Talking Heads. Anyway, this has been your humble host, Misfortune, and I will see you next time, Stableside. So you all have a good night.